University of Toronto at 77-year-old Varsity Stadium opened in 1911 with 3,000 covered seats and a bleacher section of 4,000. Seating gradually increased to more than 21,000 as Varsity was home to much of Canada's football history. The 1947 Grey Cup game was played here. The Gold Dust Twins, Joe Kroll and Royal Copeland, the Argos, the winners of this one. The famous Mud Bowl game at Varsity. Winnipeg against Toronto. Buddy Tinsley on the ground here. He almost drowned after an injury. And the first of 3 straight Grey Cup victories by the Edmonton Eskimos in the 1950s began with Chuck Hunsinger's fumble, Jackie Parker's romp to fame in '54. Canadian University Football Championships began in '65. They officially became the Vanier Cup game in '82, UBC winning the first of 2. Last year, the Thunderbirds were the victims of a lopsided Cup final game as McGill won 47-11. For the final time, Varsity Stadium plays host to the Vanier Cup, which moves to the new Sky Dome next year. The Cup has been property of the West 9 times in 21 years. The Atlantic has won it 3 times. It will go either West or Atlantic from here upon completion of play today. The 1988 CIAU Football Championship. From the campus of the University of Toronto. It's the St. Mary's Huskies representing the Atlantic Conference against the Calgary Dinosaurs representing the Western Football Union. We may have some rain today, although at the moment skies are only partially cloudy. The temperature 4 degrees. The wind's reasonably light, 30 kilometers per hour. The field is in great shape. Through the bowels of this historic stadium, we are located. So far, safe, warm, and dry. Hello, everyone. I'm Lance Brown, and welcome to the 1988 Vanier Cup Football Championship live from Varsity Stadium. It's been a week of triumph and tragedy. The triumph began for each of these clubs early in the season and carried through last week when they each won their respective bowl games. The tragedy came in a bit of a surprise to all of us on Thursday night. St. Mary's quarterback Chris Flynn, #1 in your programs, #1 in Canada, the Heck Crichton Trophy winner as the most outstanding player in Canadian University football, is out with an injury. He told a packed house and television cameras on Thursday night on his 22nd birthday that he was through for this week. He will not play. Flynn's problem is this. He suffered an injury in the game against Bishops, a victory last weekend in the Atlantic Bowl. The injury is a hairline fracture above the right eye. Flynn told us all on Thursday night if he takes another blow there again, he could suffer permanent brain damage. The damage is certainly also very severe to the St. Mary's Huskies. Calgary Dinosaurs with the advantage early before the game begins, but it's difficult to tell in a national championship. Let's go now for more on the game and the quarterbacking situation to Peter Young.
Thank you very much, Lance. It might be warm and dry down where you are. It's very cold and dry up here in the broadcast location. Very windy today, and that will affect both football teams. 5 years ago today, the University of Calgary Dinosaurs won the Vanier Cup. They're hoping, naturally, for a repeat on this 5th anniversary. To do so, they'll have to stop an offense which will be led not by the outstanding quarterback Chris Flynn, but by the punter, Bill Scullers. Yes, the punter has been moved in as the starting quarterback of the St. Mary's Huskies. Not only that, he was one of their outstanding receivers as well, so that creates a hole in the receiving position. To fill that hole, Kevin Reed, a backup defensive back, will move to offense, but he was already slated to play defense as a starter this week as well, and therefore will be playing 2 positions at least for the start of the ball game. You know, Russ Jackson has been around Canadian football for many, many, many years as a Hall of Famer, a great player as quarterback for Ottawa. And Russ is down at center field now on the field that will be closed up as far as the Vanier Cup is concerned. Let's look back at that with Russ.
Thanks very much, Peter. No matter how many times I come into Varsity Stadium, it never really seems to change. It always is that old familiar lady that so many memories come forth and come back to you. I can remember sitting just up above where I'm standing here in the mid-50s and watching Hunsinger fumble the ball just down here about the 10-yard line. Jackie Parker pick it up and run the full length of the field for Edmonton to win that game. And memories like that just keep coming back. I had an opportunity of playing on this field in an exhibition game when I was at Master University against the Varsity Blues. But today, the last Vanier Cup is being played here at Varsity Stadium, and there'll be some new memories. And standing down on the field watching the Dinosaurs and the Huskies work out, it's a little different game day. Usually game day is very relaxed. The hoopla of the week is over. The teams come out, the coaches come out for this final game of the season for both of them, and they're relaxed. Today, this afternoon, I felt an air of uncertainty, both with the Dinosaurs and the Huskies. The Huskies, a little uncertain of how their offense will go with Scholar at quarterback, and the Dinosaurs wondering exactly what they can expect offensively. So instead of being out here having prepared all week the Dinosaurs to play against Flynn, they got to play against Scholar and a different Husky offense. That uncertainty is something that I'm sure will unfold as part of the memories here in the last Vanier Cup game.
If you are uncertain about these two teams, we'll have more on both St. Mary's and Calgary as they advance to the final. The road to the finals is next. This is Canada's Varsity Cup on CTV. We are about 20 minutes before kickoff at Varsity Stadium and the Vanier Cup 1988. Each of these two teams had some very difficult roads to travel to the Vanier Cup. Here's a look at the Eastern nominee, the Atlantic Conference champion St. Mary's.
Like their Vanier Cup opponents, the St. Mary's University Huskies almost had their championship dreams crushed in their first playoff game against Acadia. It wasn't until the second quarter that the Huskies got going. Phil Matzett, a safety valve on this play, will set up a 1-yard touchdown run by going 78 yards after taking that short pass from Chris Flynn. Just a few minutes later, Flynn, the country's outstanding college player, will throw another short pass, this time to big Brian Smith, number 73, and he takes it all the way 52 yards down the sideline for a touchdown. But the Axemen will not fold on this afternoon. Sean McDonald, the Acadia quarterback, will find Paul Hitchcock for a 29-yard touchdown, the second major of the half for Hitchcock, who finished the game with 251 yards in reception. Acadia continues to run up the score. McDonald will drop back and find Greg McKeith for a long touchdown behind the defense, and it was 34-28 St. Mary's. The Axemen scored 5 touchdowns in this game, but couldn't match the foot of Jerry Foster. Good on 4 of 5 field goals, including this one from 37 yards out that made it 37-28. Acadia scores another touchdown, but their rally falls short, and SMU wins the AUAA championship game 37-35 in a shootout. A heartbreaking loss to McGill last year put them out of the playoffs, but the Huskies get another chance on their home turf. In last weekend's Atlantic Bowl, it was the Huskies hosting the Bishop Gators. Quarterback Chris Flynn will lead a scoring drive for the Huskies in the first half, doing what he does best, improvising, using his scrambling abilities to take the ball into scoring position at the 3. Then from the 1, hands the ball to running back Phil Matzett, who plows in for the touchdown, giving the Huskies a 7-0 lead. Then the play that would cause the Huskies anxious moments in this game and heartache this week. Chris Flynn, the outstanding player in the land, injured when his helmet is driven into the ground, crushing the face mask into his eye and causing a hairline fracture. Not realizing the seriousness of the injury, Flynn returns to action and finds Brian Smith open down the sideline, 55 yards all the way for the touchdown and an 18-2 lead for the Huskies. Then, late in the half, Flynn again finds his man open. This time it's slot back Matt Nealon for the touchdown. And it was 24-2 St. Mary's and effectively over for the Gators. In the second half, the Husky defense takes over. Here, linebacker Sean Dunthorne will track down the Gator quarterback for a 36-yard sack. And the St. Mary's Huskies advance to the Vanier Cup with a big victory over the Bishop Gators. CIAU honors its outstanding coach, and this year it goes to one of the competing team's coaches from St. Mary's University, Larry Utek. And Coach, I'm sure that it was an outstanding season for your football team, and there's a lot of people that you'd like to give some credit to.
Well, certainly I was not alone in this effort. We had a great coaching staff, and you don't come this far without great players, and they deserve the credit as much as anyone.
Is this the highlight of your coaching career, getting this award and being in the Vanier Cup the same year?
Well, I have to say so. The highlight will be in about 3 hours' time when we walk away with the championship.
You've had some adversity thrown in your face at the last minute. I'm sure that you would have been favored going in with your outstanding quarterback, the outstanding player in the league this year, Chris Flynn, but it just didn't work out that way.
No, it's you certainly don't lose a player of Chris caliber without suffering a bit. But the guys have pulled together, and they've earned their way here, and they're going to earn it today on the field.
Must be a great challenge psychologically, as well as just getting the playbook revised with that happening at the very last moment. But did you have the inkling that might happen, and therefore be working on some things throughout the week?
We've worked all year on our run game and our short pass game. We have a couple guys who I think can play the position very well, and we'll give them a chance today, and I don't think we had to change very much.
Okay, everybody knows that if you're putting a new quarterback in, he's had to have a number of reps throughout either the season or the week. Has been able to contradict that and get some people in those positions doing that stuff this week?
Well, Doug's been, as I say, we're working at quarterback almost half the season now. He hasn't got much game time, but he's got a lot of work. And Bill Scollard was our backup quarterback at the beginning of the year, and he got a little bit of work then. So both guys could see some action today.
All right, Coach Utek, congratulations on an outstanding year. Best of luck this afternoon. The challenge is put in the face of the St. Mary's Huskies. We'll see how they respond in just a few minutes.
It's been a very difficult 2 weeks for Larry Utek. He lost his mother to cancer 2 weeks ago, and he lost his top quarterback this week. This is the Vanier Cup, Canada's University Football Championship.
The road to the Vanier Cup almost took an early detour for the University of Calgary Dinosaurs. They will need a 4-yard touchdown by J.P. Izquierdo late in the fourth quarter against Saskatchewan in the WIFL playoff just to force overtime. It was 26-all in the first half of overtime when quarterback Bob Torrance finds receiver Dave Brown. He makes the good move, goes in from 29 yards out, and that puts Calgary ahead. And the Husky defense couldn't stop the running of J.P. Izquierdo. The 18-year-old speedster, difficult to bring down on this play as he sets up a field goal. In fact, 2 long three-pointers from Brian DeMugg and this 21-yard touchdown pass from Torrance to Sean Furlong, the son of the former CFLer, his second of the game, gave the Dinos a 46-33 overtime victory and a berth in the Central Bowl against Western. It was a soggy J.W. Little Stadium in London, Ontario, as the UWO Mustangs played host to Calgary a week ago. The Dinosaurs nursed a 10-7 lead into the third quarter, and quarterback Bob Torrance took over early in the third, finding Kevin Kazan wide open for a 20-yard touchdown on their first possession at 17-7. Then on the final play of the third quarter, Calgary breaks it open. Running back Rob Zimmerman, who gets the ball only half the time that J.P. Izquierdo does, shows he too is an outstanding back. All the way 55 yards for the touchdown. Calgary's lead extended to 24-7. But the Mustangs won't say die. Quarterback John Juris will find Mike Frank open for a 41-yard touchdown. Early in the fourth quarter, Western is right back in the ball game. Then on the ensuing kickoff, the ball will go to usually sure-handed J.P. Izquierdo. But Izquierdo, bringing the ball back upfield, will cough up the football. And Western Ontario will get possession at the Calgary 32. The Mustangs, though, could not capitalize. They could not put it into the end zone. So Ray McArity will line up for a 23-yard field goal that it would have pulled them to within 7. That goes wide. The Dinosaurs will add one more touchdown late in the ball game. Kevin Kazan will take the pass from Bob Torrance, and he will score his second touchdown of the game. Brian DeMugg will later add a field goal, and the University of Calgary earns its berth in the CIAU championship game with a 34-15 thumping of Western in the Central Bowl. Peter Cannellan is the coach of the Calgary Dinosaurs. He's been to the Vanier Cup twice and won it here. He's also won CIAU Coach of the Year honors. Coach, any similarities between this young team you have and some of the ones you had here before?
Well, I think from the point of view of how hard they've worked to get here, and I think that's the main thing. That would be the similarity, I think.
You have a very young team, as I pointed out. When you started this season, did you envision yourself playing football the last weekend in November?
No, we didn't. I think our approach at the beginning of the year was to kind of look at it one game at a time. We had a number of players that graduated or didn't return for whatever reason, and so we were in a situation where we really weren't sure who the players were that were going to come to the top. And over a period of time, we've had a group of players come to the top as far as the defense is concerned, and that kind of solidified that area.
How about your running game? That's something that really St. Mary's will even admit themselves. They don't have a great running game, an adequate game, but it seems you have two outstanding running backs.
Well, the running backs have done a very good job, and I think that's probably a credit to the offensive line, and at the same time, because we are able to pass the ball, it keeps the pressure off them. So just the balance of our offense at this point in time seems to have helped both the run and the pass.
Of course, everybody was dreaming of the matchup of Flynn against Torrance. That won't take place. Is it you have to make some defensive adjustments now because of that, and knowing that you won't have the experienced guy in there?
Well, I don't think we'll have to make too many adjustments. We would more likely go back to a defense where we've got to be able to pay attention to both the run and the pass. I'm sure that the pass will still be a threat, and as far as the run is concerned, maybe a little bit more emphasis on the run than they initially planned. So certainly from our point of view, then our defense has to concentrate on the run as well.
I get the feeling from talking to some of your players that they're a little bit disappointed that Chris Flynn isn't playing, that they naturally want to win this football game, but they would have rather wanted had Flynn been in it.
Well, I think, first of all, when it comes to winning, that's determined on the field. Mm-hmm. And we haven't played the game yet. So our approach really is we have to go out there and we have to execute our game plan regardless of what the other team does. And my feeling is that the team that makes the fewest mistakes, particularly at this time of the year, is the team that comes out on top. And that's what we have to do. When you lose a player of Chris's capabilities, that definitely has an effect on a team's plans. And I'm sure that their team is making adjustments just the same way we are. And when the puck's dropped and the ball's thrown, it'll all take place.
Coach Snelling, congratulations on an outstanding season and best of luck in this afternoon's ball.
Great, thank you.
The Calgary Dinosaurs came here this week ranked number 2 in the country. They may now be considered by many before this game number 1. The loss of Chris Flynn is the reason why. He joins us next. This is Canada's University Football Championship, the Vanier Cup. Live at Varsity Stadium in Toronto for the 1988 Vanier Cup. The St. Mary's Huskies certainly were devastated earlier this week by an announcement on Thursday night by their number 1 quarterback, the number 1 quarterback in Canada, the Heck Crichton Trophy winner, Chris Flynn, that Flynn would not be playing in the Vanier Cup game, and this is the reason why. This is last weekend against Bishops at St. Mary's, Huskies Stadium. It was a running play. Flynn gets cracked a couple of times on the way down, and watch carefully the helmet. It is driven into the ground by one of the Bishop's pursuers, and Flynn suffers an eye injury. There's the second hit, 1 and 2. And we have the man who suffered the injury with us. Chris, first of all, it's a tragedy, no doubt, but how are you physically?
Well, I'm going to be fine. It's just I'm still suffering severe headaches all the time, but the doctor told me in about a month from now I should be 100% healthy, so I guess I should look at it positively, and I will be fine in about 4 or 5 weeks, so I guess that's the good thing about it.
What is amazing about this, I suppose, to many people, is that you played with an injury that you told us later in the week could lead to brain damage, and you finished the game against Bishops.
Yeah, well, the Toronto doctor was pretty surprised that I finished the rest of the game because, like he said, it would be like playing Russian roulette, and if I was to get hit in that certain area where the hairline fracture is, there could be brain damage. So obviously there was no decision to be made to play today. I just couldn't play, and it's too bad, but I guess it could have been a lot worse.
When did you decide to reveal this to everyone? Was it Thursday morning, or did you know earlier in the week?
No, I talked to some doctors on Tuesday, and you know, they all pretty well said that I wouldn't be able to play, but I wanted to wait to see the specialist, and I only found out about an hour before I went up for the head crate, and so it was pretty tough, and I knew a lot of people would be asking and wondering, so I just decided to let everyone know up on the stage when I won my trophy, because that'd be the easiest way for me. So I just found out Thursday night, really, for sure.
Well, I suppose if it's fair to say it, it's a good thing you weren't hurt more severely, given that you played in that game later on. Best of luck to you in the future. You're only a second-year player, so we'll see you back here, I'm sure, to championship next year.
You sure will. Thanks a lot.
Chris Flynn, the quarterback of the St. Mary's Huskies. Now let's go to the field for the player introduction.
Scoreboard. Yeah, I know, but we can't get... Yeah, about 2 feet. Oh, it's working. I'm waiting on TV. Yes, sir. You ready? Okay. Go.
Mine.
Ladies and gentlemen, introducing the starting defensive unit for the 1988 Central Bowl champions, the Calgary Dinosaurs. At a left end, number 72, Rob Ferland. At nose tackle, number 41, Alan Wood. At right end, number 45, Cole Nelson. Outside linebacker, number 65, Ian James. Inside linebacker, number 50, Rod Munden. Inside linebacker, number 42, Dennis Mahoney. Outside linebacker, number 71, Pat Moska. Left cornerback, number 15, Mike Hildebrand. Right cornerback, number 12, Devon Marchuk. Defensive halfback, number 21, Travis Dunkel. Defensive halfback, number 33, Dave Van Bellingham. And starting at safety, number 35, Dave Heaton. Head coach Peter Connellan and the rest of the players and coaches of the Central Bowl champion, University of Calgary Dinosaurs. Now presenting the starting offensive unit of the 1988 Atlantic Bowl champions, the St. Mary's Huskies. Starting at quarterback, number 50. Number 68, Constance Nicolopoulos. Number 56 at left guard, Mario Vanier. Number 50, Louis Oakshotcher, right guard. You send them both. I can't see numbers. Keep sending them. Number 52, right tackle, Richard McLean. Number 62, left tackle, Scott Nuttall. 52, right tackle, Richard McLean. At tight end, number 73, Brian Smith. Number halfback, number 79, Kevin Reed. At tailback, number 31, Phil Matzak. At flanker, number 80, Ian McDonald. At fullback, number 32, Jody Hubert. And at quarterback, number 15, Bill Schollard. And here are Larry Upchak and the rest of the players and coaches of the Atlantic Bowl champions, St. Mary's Huskies. Directing your attention now to the center field area where the captains of the two teams will join referee Bob Scott for the coin toss. Representing Calgary, Paul Kerber, number 58. Linebacker Ron Mondon, number 50. Linebacker Ian James, number 65. And fullback Rob Zimmerman,
toss. Calgary, you
54.
won the coin toss.
And representing
You defer your
St. Mary's,
choice to the
Bill
second half.
Schollard,
St.
number
Mary's,
13. Jim
you
Fitzsimmons,
choose the north
number
end. Calgary, will you
64.
kick or receive?
Greg
You're
Kerwin,
kicking from the south
number
end. So
66.
St. Mary's has chosen the
Phil
north end.
Matzak,
Calgary will
number
kick from the
31.
south end. Good luck, fellas.
It'll be St. Mary's defending the north end, and Calgary in the south end. Calgary won the toss, but has elected to defer to the second half, and Calgary will kick off. Would you please rise and join with Mr. Lewis Moore in the singing of our national anthem.
St. Mary's and Calgary await the opening kickoff, now just moments away. This is the Vanier Cup, Canada's University Football Championship.
On the campus of the University of Toronto, the 22nd anniversary of the Vanier Cup. Brought to you by Molson Canadian, what beer's all about. And by the Jeep Eagle Division of Chrysler Canada, major sponsor of CIAU football throughout the 1988 season. Here's a look at the hardware up for grabs this afternoon in this football game. The winning team naturally crowned the national champion and awarded the Vanier Cup. Today's outstanding player will be awarded the Ted Morris Memorial MVP Trophy. And, of course, and perhaps the most visible honor, the winning school will take home the CIAU championship banner to hang in their field house. Getting ready for the kickoff, and joining me once again up in the broadcast location is Russ Jackson. And Russ, a situation where we expect somebody to come up big in a game like this, and in this case we expect Bill Scollard, normally the punter and wide receiver, to come up big for SMU.
Well, Bill Scollard starting at the quarterback. He had played quarterback in high school, but he's played very little in college ball, and he's going to have all the pressure on his shoulders to try and get the ball to Ian McDonald or Brian Smith, two of his receiving mates over the year, but now he's going to be throwing the ball to them. And I think we can expect Bill to have a fine afternoon. He has a lot of confidence in himself and is a great leader, and I think he's going to surprise some people.
Calgary's offense is dynamic as well. They don't have any injuries. They just got power everywhere.
Well, there's no question about it. Bob Torrance is a stand-up quarterback. He's got better as the season has gone along. They have a super receiver with a lot of speed in Dave Brown, and the running back, Querio, is just an outstanding guy running out of the eye, and they're just going to do a good job offensively this afternoon.
And a lot of pressure will be on this man, Billy Robinson, good friend of ours, who will be the offensive coordinator naturally, and working with a rookie quarterback, even though he's a veteran football player. And Billy has told us that, Russ, he's not going to be conservative, in spite of the fact that he's got a newcomer in that quarterback position. He's going for it, he said.
Well, Billy Robinson is going to have that pressure along with Scollard because he's going to call all the plays. It's up to him to decide what the offense is going to do. He's been able to let Chris Flynn do it for 2 years, but now he's going to have to do that from the sidelines, and Chris will be signaling into Scollard what is going to take place. And Larry Utek, a lot of pressure on him as we get ready for the kickoff.
DeBug will kick it off deep to McDonald, number 80. A perfect field, nice, good traction, and he gets it up to the 30-yard line. And from there, Bill Scollard will lead the St. Mary's offense onto the field. Dunkel made the stop, a 23-yard return by Ian McDonald. Scollard with Hubert and Matza. Don't forget he had the bad ankle a week ago, and it's not healed yet. Reed, Smith, Nealon, and McDonald, the receivers. One of the best receivers is now the quarterback, Bill Scollard. First down, ball at the 30-yard line. Pitch out, Matzik right side, and Matzik will go nowhere. Dunkel, number 21, is there to make the stop. Gain of 2 yards on the play. Linebacker Dennis Mahoney also in on the stop.
Peter, one of the interesting highlights about the opening flip of the coin was that the Calgary Dinosaurs won the flip, but they elected to let St. Mary's have the ball. So there's no question. They want to find out what this St. Mary's offense is going to do, feeling that their defense can shut them down.
St. Mary's going left to right in your screen in their maroon jerseys. Calgary in their traditional red and white. Bill Scollard at quarterback. Second down and long. Scollard wants to throw, and there's a flag on the play. The throw is to McDonald, complete, but a flag on the play. And it appears that it will be a procedure call against St. Mary's. 27-yard gain wiped out by the procedure call.
Well, that's what it's going to be, Peter. But as you said in the opening that you expect that the quarterback Scollard is going to gamble a little bit. He put the ball up against the wind, and Ian McDonald got Mike Hildebrand, number 15, turned around there on the defense. And Scollard is saying something to them early on the defense. I'm just not going to throw that ball short.
Well, I think that Peter Cannellan and his coaches felt that that's what they would be, conservative. And I think we both know Billy Robinson well enough to know that it's time to air out the football. That's what the other team's thinking.
Send a message early.
So it's second down now, 13. Calgary has Peasgood back in as the 6th defensive back. Pitch out right side, Matzik on long yardage. He gets around the corner. Matzik up close to the first down marker, and they have it. Heaton drives him out of bounds, number 35. A gain of 17 and a big first down by the St. Mary's Huskies.
Well, we expected the quarterback, Bill Scollard, to come out and play in the shotgun, but he's been there in a straight T formation, and this was exactly the same play they opened the game with, just a little toss to number 31, Phil Matzat, their number 1 running back, and the downfield number 80, who caught the pass, Ian McDonald, earlier, got a block that just allowed him that extra 3 yards to get the first down.
And a big contained block by 32, Jody Hubert, the blocking back, to get him around the corner. There's the pass outside and off the hands of Nealon. Hildebrand was covering Nealon on the play. It was overthrown. Looking at defensive line, the three-man front, Ferland Wood and Cole Nelson. Up front for Calgary, their linebackers, a great one, Ian James, second-team All-Star, along with Mondon Mahoney and Mosca. And once again, a passing situation for St. Mary's. They bring in the extra defensive back, and Bill Scholar decides he wants a timeout. Scholar all taped up, as you can see, with the plays Russ on his wrist. It reminds me of the old Tom Matty Baltimore Colt incident back in, I guess, the 60s when Matty replaced two injured stars, Johnny Yu and Earl Morrow, and had to write the plays on his wrist.
Well, I'm sure he's probably got some plays on there, but he's probably got some signals, too, from the sideline as to what they mean to him, because they have not had a lot of time to work on the signal system. And rather than do something wrong here, Scollard has called the timeout. But he's certainly got some plays on there, but also some signals. And as we mentioned earlier, Billy Robbins is going to have a lot of pressure on him to keep the offense going, to be able to get those signals into Scollard as quickly as possible.
There's the defensive backs for Calgary: Hildebrand, Dunkel, Heaton, Van Bellum, who's a great one, and Marcoux. I think perhaps, Russ, that Calgary a little surprised at the way St. Mary's has come out fired up, and although it's 2nd and 10 here, it did get the first down, and especially the long pass, even though it was called back by a penalty.
Well, it's something that the Dinosaurs wanted to find out exactly what Scollard was going to do. They probably haven't even got any film on him playing quarterback, and therefore they wanted to find out, if they could, whether he's going to go into that short punt. But up until now, he's been under the center on every snap.
He played a quarter in preseason, and that is his limit of quarterback duties this season. But that man there, Larry Utek, said he is the natural leader of this football team, and when Chris Flynn was knocked out of the lineup, there was one man that he wanted to replace him, and that was the team leader, Bill Schollard. From the shotgun formation on 2nd and long. Smith was in motion. There comes the rush, the screen. Matzik gets the block inside, gets outside, but is short of the first down. Mondon comes over from his linebacker position to make the stop. An 8-yard gain, bringing up 3rd down and 2. And Schollard will drop back into punt formation, but having your punter as your quarterback, Russ, as you well know, will give them an option sometime in this football game to throw off this formation.
Or kick off that short punt formation on 2nd downs when they do get the win. But Mondon did a great job of getting out there and just holding Matt 2 yards short of that first down on that screen play.
Van Bellum and Brown, 39 and 33, back to receive the first punt of the ball game. It's just short one that bounces. And Brown has it at the 30-yard line, cuts inside and gets up to the 35, maybe the 36. So with no score, we'll be back at the Vanier Cup in a moment. No score early in the Vanier Cup. First down for the Calgary Dinosaurs at their 35-yard line. And Bob Torrance, one of the outstanding quarterbacks in Canadian college football, leads the Dinosaurs to the line of scrimmage. And the first play will be on the ground. Esquerdo. And Esquerdo is contained behind the line of scrimmage by a fired-up St. Mary's defense. Let's take a look at some of the offensive weapons of the Calgary Dinosaurs. Bob Torrance, the quarterback. 19-year-old J.P. Esquerdo, actually still 18, almost 19, is the running back, along with Zimmerman, both great ones. Harrison, Carbonic, Furlong, and Brown, the receivers. Furlong, the most dangerous of that group. Torrance to pass on 2nd down and 11. Over the middle, and he has it picked off and then dropped. Karazakis, the linebacker, loses it again. And I believe finally St. Mary's will come up with the football as Jim Fitzsimmons, the outstanding rover, finally collars the loose ball. First turnover goes to SMU.
Well, a good throw by the quarterback. Torrance hit the receiver right on the numbers, but he popped out there, and the old tip drill comes into play here. Receiver coming in the middle, got his hands on the ball. Carbonic. But then the ball bounced around quite a bit until number 64, Jim Fitzsimmons, jumped on it. As you say, the first turnover. St. Mary's in good field position at midfield.
Actually, at their 53, first down, handoff maps it up the middle, and he runs into a wall. Dennis Mahoney, number 42, leading the linebackers in to stop that 2-yard pickup. Tony Williams comes into the ball game replacing Matset and likely bringing in the play to Bill Scollard. Yes, he does.
Sat beside Peter Cannellan last night for about 5 hours, and we talked a lot about this Calgary defense because it seems to be a no-name defense, and he said that's really what it is. He said we're not strong on the defensive line, the linebackers, and the secondary. It's 12 guys that play out there every play.
From the shotgun formation, motion and a penalty flag down. Long pass right side for McDonald. McDonald has it go off his fingertips. Good coverage by Mike Hildebrand. And I believe some motion again from the St. Mary's offensive unit. McDonald may have got the jump himself.
Gus Tarazakis did the interception. Gus, you're all fired up today.
Oh, yeah, we're pumped up. Chris is in here, so the defense got us here. We're going to show them that we can play defense from Halifax.
Well, the offense looks good, too, so.
Yeah, the offense, I think we can run on them, but we'll see how it goes. Scollard had a good week of practice. He's a very good athlete, and he's just always like Flynn as an athlete. And I want to say hi to my sister, who's watching the game right here, and the boys at the graduate. Thank you.
Okay, you're done. Tillman.
Penalty is declined, Lance, and that will bring up a punting situation with Van Bellum back to receive along with Brown. Van Bellum has touched the ball more often on punt returns over the season for Calgary. 46 returns, in fact, along of 93. And Van Bellum has it bounced back the other way. The Huskies trying to get away from the football. It's finally picked up by Van Bellum, who tries to cut back up to the outside and will get short yardage on the play. Only a 27-yard punt. So with no score, we'll be back with first quarter action in the Vanier Cup. Larry Utek, the head coach of the St. Mary's Huskies. I think Russ probably, although it's very early, content with the way that his team has played so far.
Has to feel quite comfortable about what has been happening. They have not shied away from throwing that ball downfield. A couple of penalties haven't helped them. The 2 illegal procedure penalties and getting that turnover. The defense is certainly ready to carry their particular weight this afternoon. And hearing the middle linebacker, Gus Tarazakis, he's ready.
They're fired up. Torrance rolls to his left. Has pressure from Reed from his halfback position, and McKenzie finishes the job. Kevin Reed going both ways in this ball game makes the big play. A 12-yard loss. He and McKenzie get the sack.
Peter, you often wonder what the defense is going to do when you have a rollout quarterback, and this time the inside safety, Kevin Reed, number 79, came right up in the backfield to force that rollout, and then coming from the backside, Doug McKenzie, who's a very small defensive end, tracked down Torrance and threw him for about a 10-yard loss.
Torrance puts his receivers right, throws, and it's well over the head of J.P. Izquierdo, and a punting situation for Calgary.
Well, you have to look at some mix-up in the defensive backfield back there because both the defensive backs went to the inside with one receiver, and if that ball had been down with Izquierdo be able to get a hold of it, he could have gone a long way downfield.
It'll be third down and about 21 yards, and the first punt of the ball game for Brent Matic. Karen, number 21, McDonald, number 80, back deep to receive for the Huskies at their 45-yard line. The wind is favoring Matic on this kick. The left-footed kicker gets it up, and it's taken by Caron. Caron, inside center field, gets to the 50-yard line of Calgary before he is driven back. Dunkel, number 21, led the charge for the Dinosaurs.
Peter, I'm sure one thing that Billy Robinson and Larry Utek are thinking about right now is the good field position they've managed to have throughout this early part of the football game, because when you have to start with a quarterback like Scollard, who hasn't played a lot, it is nice to get that good field position early to make it a little easier with the play selection.
We anticipated an offensive game all week with 2 great quarterbacks. The change in the roster affects this game, and it's now been a great defensive ball game. Matzik gets outside, and he'll have a good gain on the play around the left end, close to 8 yards. And Mondin comes over from his inside linebacker spot to make the stop.
Well, with 3 sweeps now, you have to have the feeling that St. Mary's feels they can match it outside a little bit and get the guards out in front of him on these first down situations. He's carried that ball 3 times on that play and has made good yards each time.
Matson has been the offense for St. Mary's. 4 carries for 29 yards and the 1 pass for 8. Playing on a wonky ankle. Hand off to Williams. And Williams will have the first down for St. Mary's. Very close. He had to get to the 38.5-yard line, and that's about where they marked the ball. And we might have the sticks brought in for the first time.
Yeah, they'll bring them in here. Again, Williams goes in on the short yardage situation. Didn't run that hard into the line of scrimmage, and it's going to be pretty close. It looks like they might have got it by half a football.
I think that, Russ, in this situation, that on 3rd down and inches, that they would likely go for it.
With St. Mary's linebacker, Rob Brennan. Rob, this club is fired up. It's partially, I'm sure, because of Flynn, but you've shut Calgary down completely so far.
Well, all year we've always had a great defense, and today we just wanted to come out there, hit the hell out of them, try and intimidate them right off the start. So far, we scouted really well, everything they have a tendency to do. We've been putting things together that can take it away, and we've been doing it so far. Hopefully we can continue to do this all game, and if we can keep holding their offense to a few points and our offense can put some up, things will go a lot better.
All right, continued success. Thanks.
Okay, thank you.
Scholar passes left side, and that is complete to Matt Nealon, and Nealon will be very close to the first down marker, about 1.5 feet short.
Got to be some confidence being built up in this offense of the St. Mary's Huskies as they're being able to move the ball against this dinosaur defense. And Scholar is not afraid to put that ball out there, and a great catch by number 70, Matt Nealon, who had just an outstanding game last week when we walked in there expecting some of the other receivers to probably be the most successful.
So far, the Huskies have risen to the challenge, and the first down along the ground, and the quarterback sneak by Bill Scollard. Rush, you have to wonder if that old adage in sport that it will make everybody else play a little bit better.
Well, it's always that way, and as I mentioned at the outset of this ball game, there was uncertainty down there. The St. Mary's Huskies, whether they could move the ball, and the Dinosaurs, what were they going to see offensively? And I think they've been somewhat surprised by Schollard so far.
It's a first down for St. Mary's at the 26.5-yard line of Calgary. Pitch out left side to Williams. Williams gets the block and will have a gain of about 6.5 on the play.
Peter, the one thing they've been able to do on this sweep is contain down with the wing back, and they're getting that guard out in front of that play. That time it was the left guard, Mario Vanier, number 56, who's getting clean around that corner. And if you can get your guards around the corner on any type of sweep, you've got a chance of making that 6, 7, 8 yards every time.
A much different offense for the St. Mary's Huskies, but very effective so far in this ball game. Leo Bratton comes in at linebacker for Calgary. Short pass, and Nealon will not get the first down.
Well, this is the first decision for Larry Utek now with about 2 yards to go on 3rd down. Whether they're going to bring in the field goal team. It looks like number 13, Jerry Foster, is coming in the game. But again, a reminder that Schollard holds for him. And now that Schollard's got the arm loosened up, you always have to be prepared for what he might do out there.
3rd down and 1.5. And Foster will put the kicking tee down at the 26-yard line. I think that anytime they get a chance to take points, Russ, they'll take points.
That might be a good idea in a game like this.
Especially early in the ball game. Schollard pins it. Foster kicks it. It's wide. Instead of going end over end, it went perfectly sideways. So with the score, St. Mary's 1, Calgary no score. We'll be back in a moment.
On the sidelines with St. Mary's running back Phil Matzat. Phil, you're going outside an awful lot today with a pass so far.
Yeah, right now we're just trying to feel out the defense and see exactly what we can do. But yeah, our outside passing game's working, and I think we can run outside also.
Are you going to try up inside maybe a bit later on?
Oh yeah, we're gonna get an all-around look at the defense and see what we have there.
Happy with the success so far?
Oh yeah, we're doing good.
Could use a field goal there, though.
Yeah, I know, but we got with a point, you know, better than nothing.
And you're leading. Thanks, Phil.
Yeah, sure.
Bob Torrance at quarterback. Hands off, first man through. And Gus Karazakis, 43, gets the hand on him first. And Esquerdo is brought down after a gain of 2 yards.
Great penetration by the middle linebacker, Gus Karazakis. He read that play perfectly and got up there right on the line of scrimmage to hold it to 2 yards.
Gus made the big play last week on the 36-yard sack. Might be the longest of his career.
The longest he ran to make a sack, I guarantee that.
Torrance trying to set it up over the middle, and he's sacked. Karazakis, number 43, along with Paul Tonnett, number 51.
You have to feel that there's got to be a key with that roll-up because Karazakis jumped from his middle linebacker spot right into the slot on that offensive right side, and he was right in the face of Torrance before he got a chance to throw the ball. There he is. And he anticipated that, so there must be some key that they picked up in the film to have him jump that quickly on that rollout to the right.
And Tonnett was in there with the helmet and the numbers. Third down and 18. High snap. Maddox gets it down and gets it away. Caron, 21, has it at the 46. Fumbles the ball. And St. Mary's will come up with the loose football. Number 77, Lee, comes up with the ball for St. Mary's.
Well, he was lucky here. That ball came down as he fumbled it. The Calgary player had a shot at it, and then 77 Lee jumped on the ball to keep it for the Huskies. And again, pretty good field position just outside their own 50-yard line.
Tom Lee, the 6'1", 204-pound freshman from Halifax, who sees special team duty usually. Very alert on that play, first down. Matson, number 31, doing what he just told us he would do, run inside. And Matson has a gain of 6 yards on the play. Second down and 4. Mosca made the stop. No relation, by the way, Russ, to a guy who terrorized you a little bit. Angelo Mosca, and an injured Husky on the play.
Peter, we know it couldn't be that because you know that Angelo wouldn't name a boy Pat.
No, you're right. Phil Matzett, the running back, is the injured Husky. Don't forget he had the bad ankle, and it would appear that that is what they're attending to.
Well, this play starts off with Hubert taking off just like it's going to be that little pitch out. The little stutter step by Matzett turned it up off tackle. And again, we've got to start to wonder whether that ankle got twisted out there and whether that's the problem. Well, he seems to be okay, but he is limping a little bit coming off the field, and he certainly is the bread and butter man as far as that running game is concerned, which they have used quite effectively so far this afternoon.
Well, he was limping coming out onto the field, so I guess just a little bit more noticeable at this moment. I mean, he's playing hurt. We all know that, but so far he's been their big ball carrier.
He led the CIAU with 6 rushing touchdowns this year, and that's something when you think of St. Mary's as a passing team.
Tony Williams, number 33, replaces him in the backfield. They go to that I formation twice. They've tried it twice. They've been called for procedure. This time they get the play off, and Scullard wants to run himself inside, but not to the first down marker. He'll be about a yard and a half short. Mahoney, number 42, comes in to make the stop. It will be third down and a long 2.
Well, we expected Scullard to get in that short punt situation or shotgun and roll, especially to the right, being right-handed. But that specific time, that was a design running play. He did not come out there at all to throw that ball. He had that ball tucked under his arm as soon as he left that position in the shotgun or short punt.
Van Bellum, number 33, Brown, number 39, back to receive the punt for Calgary, who are at their 15. Calgary yet to put a first down on the scoreboard with 2:48 to go in the first quarter. Short punt into the wind. Bounces to Van Bellum. Van Bellum tries to get left. McKenzie gets a shot at him. Can't bring him down. But he is finally tracked down by Hubert, number 32. So Calgary will take the ball at their own 20, make that 19-yard line. And the broadcast location, that is, you can see the bright light up where we're standing. That's the only thing we have to keep us warm, Russ.
Looks like a star over top of us.
I think it's over top of you, in fact. And underneath a great horde of media from across the country, especially naturally from Calgary and from Halifax. Paul Vanier from our Halifax affiliate out there, and Ken Newens from our Calgary affiliate have had quite a war of words going all week.
That's right. Bob Torrance throwing that first pass high over top of the intended receiver. But you talked about the media. There are a lot of CFL scouts here as well, Peter, looking at some of these kids because some of them will be graduating. It will be their last game this afternoon.
Harrison wide open on that play, Russ. That's twice now. Torrance has been unable to get the ball to receivers who are totally open.
That's right. And if he starts to hit those receivers, that defense is going to have a little trouble.
Second down and 10. Not a first down yet for the Dinosaurs. Fake. Throws it deep to Brown, and he couldn't cut to the football as the wind seemed to carry it towards the sideline. Wedderburn in the coverage area, but actually, again, the receiver was open.
Brown did a great job going down there. He ran a post corner, as we'd call it. He came to the inside and turned Wedderburn right around. The ball was in the air long before he turned him around, but it was just going a little too far. But again, the receivers are getting open. Torrance just isn't getting that ball to them.
Matic will stand at his 4-yard line. Good kick. Taken by McDonald. He'll try to go outside, and he's brought down on the play by James, number 65. So again, St. Mary's has excellent field position driving into this strong wind. The ball at the 49-yard line of Calgary. 1-0 the score. First quarter action, the Vanier Cup for the national championship.
Good day for football, Peter. A lot different than last year when it was so cold at this particular game when McGill handled UBC quite handily.
Williams, 33 left side, and he's brought down by Mondin, number 50, with some help. Alan Wood came over from his nose tackle position to help out on that. And there'll be no gain in the play, 2nd and 10.
Well, a little better job done defensively that time, and turning that play inside. Pat Mosca did a better job, but again, we've got Anthony Williams running that ball instead of Phil Matzat. Now Matzat not back in the ball game after hurting his ankle.
Bill Scollard at quarterback. On 2nd and 10 has Williams and Hubert in the backfield. Williams up the middle, and the nose tackle Wood makes the stop. Short gain and another punting situation for St. Mary's.
Well, we're in the last minute of this first quarter, and with about 43, 45 seconds to go, St. Mary's will be punting the ball to Calgary, and you have to anticipate that Calgary's going to have that poor field position again when they move into the wind.
A game dominated so far by the defensive unit of the St. Mary's Huskies in what was supposed to be an offensive display by Calgary. Good punt. Brown takes it at the 10. McKenzie is there, number 7. And a flag on the play as Brown gets the ball to the 15.
I have to feel we're going to have the Calgary team even move back a little further here with sort of blocking from behind.
That's what it is, a push from the rear.
And I would think that the offensive coordinator of the Calgary team is wondering now what he might start to use, because with the win they have not been successful, and they're going to start this second quarter shortly when they turn around in the shadows of their own goalposts. And those goalposts have been here for a while.
Well, Russ, I know we talked about that before the game. When the camera happens to hit the goalpost, you'll see that it's the old-fashioned two-post goalposts, almost antique in this country at this moment.
You can see them there in the picture.
Flag on the play, and Estrino gets loose. Finally tracked down by McKenzie, number 7, who comes from his defensive end position. Close to first down yardage, but of course it will be contingent upon the penalty. And time has expired, and the penalty will naturally determine whether or not we can end this first quarter. It is procedure, and it will be against Calgary, which will take the ball even further back and will prohibit us from ending this first quarter.
Well, Jim Fitzsimmons, number 64, who's probably the hardest hitter in that defensive secondary, came up and squared right away with Esquerdo, and Esquerdo beat him, got to the outside, and fortunately they did have that penalty for the St. Mary's team. Best offensive play that the Dinosaurs have had this afternoon.
Well, it would have been their first down of the ball game, but it's wiped out. It's 1st and 15 on the final play, barring a penalty in this first quarter. Torrance, the quarterback, fake over the middle. Brown wide open, and he has it. Fumble, and he gets it back. Actually, Furlong may have the football. Wedderburn, 22, makes the stop, but a big play on the final play of the first quarter for Calgary. With the score, St. Mary's 1, Calgary no score. We'll return with the second quarter in a moment. Watch the blitz here, Russ, and that's really the reason for the success of the play.
Well, number 64 was right up at the line of scrimmage, and when Brown, with that great speed, turned it to the inside, number 22, John Wedderburn, had no inside help where he normally would get it from number 64, Jim Fitzsimmons, and he is beaten cleanly there for a big play on the last play of the first quarter and the first down for the Calgary Dinosaurs.
And the last play of the half with the wind at their back. Play fake up the middle to Esquerdo, going deep. Brown again, and Brown has Wedderburn turned inside out inside the 15-yard line. They've gone 85 yards in 2 plays.
Well, this is the situation that we've heard a great deal about with the Calgary team, that this Brown has this great speed, and he had beaten Wedderburn earlier in the quarter, but they didn't get the ball to him, and now 2 successive plays have taken them about 95 yards.
They had no yards passing, and in 2 plays they have had 85 yards passing. First down for the Dinosaurs. Some play action. Going to Furlong in the end zone. Touchdown! Ken Walcott, who's in there at this moment replacing Kevin Reed, who has to play both ways, beaten on the play. But in 3 plays, the Dinosaurs have gone the length of the football field.
Wow, what has impressed me about number 16 Torrance in those 3 successive plays is that he has actually thrown that ball out there before the receiver is looking back. This time, Sean Furlong was out there. He turned the defensive back Walcott inside, and that ball was in the air long before Furlong turned around to look for it. It did hang up a little bit, and Walcott did have a chance of knocking it down. Couldn't quite get there, but very impressive drive late in the first quarter and early in the second quarter for the Dinosaurs.
Brian DeMug will be in to try the extra point with Brown holding. Let's look at that touchdown once again. Furlong, as you mentioned, Russ, cuts to the outside, turns Walcott inside, and the ball is delivered perfectly.
Well, the ball is thrown up there now, and that's the reason that we weren't able to get it to him, and certainly Walcott was not around there. So with the score, the Dinosaurs 7 and the Huskies 1. We'll be back in a moment.
First quarter statistics show the Huskies dominating, but the score, because of the play early in the second quarter, is the big statistic. 7-1 Calgary. They'll kick it off. DeMug, number 18. There's that last scoring drive, 107 yards. It was 2nd down and 15, don't forget, on the last play of that first quarter. Caron has it pushed out of bounds, and St. Mary's will have it. It's right in a bad position in front of the Dinosaur bench, and they may be reversing that call. The last player to touch it is given possession. It's not a great place to have it, Russ, right in front of the bench. And Calgary will get the football. From this angle, we might see it better.
Well, number 21, Caron, came up there. He couldn't handle the ball cleanly, and it's who's going to touch that ball last, and the official is right there to call it. He's pointing right to the man who touched it.
Dunkel, I believe, 21. Dunkel almost bobbled it out of bounds, but that counts as the possession.
Well, 2 number 21s. Caron for the Huskies couldn't quite find the handle. Duncan knocked it out of bounds, and great turnaround here all of a sudden with the momentum switching after St. Mary's had done such a great job of controlling the game in the first quarter.
Torrance at quarterback at the 25, fake to Esquerdo, throws left side and has his man open. Zimmerman, the running back, will have it and have a gain of 9, make that 8 yards on the play. Scott Dunthorne comes from his inside linebacker position to make the stop.
Well, that evens up the turnovers with the Calgary Dinosaurs having that pass intercepted in the first quarter, and now that fumble giving the Dinosaurs this opportunity to move in for a second score.
Without Flynn at quarterback, St. Mary's has to keep this game close, Russ. They can't get down or they're going to be in deep trouble. This time, Esquerdo will have the ball, and he will be inside the 15-yard line, and if they mark it there, that will be a first down. Richardson in on the stop.
Travis Dunkel was given credit for that recovery. What happened on the play?
Oh, it's just a deep kick right on our part, and I just hustled down on the ball. And their deep back seemed to bobble the ball, and I just got in there and knocked the ball out of bounds.
Your defense started slow. Is it the jitters or what?
I think so, but we're coming along right now, and offense is rolling, so I think we're doing all right.
Thanks. Continued success.
Thank you.
First down, ball at the 13.5. Esquerdo, number 23, dances inside and will be down to the 5-yard line. Gus Karazakas, middle linebacker, along with Brennan, makes the stop.
Well, the Husky defense gambling a lot more this week than they did last week. Again, number 64, Jim Fitzsimmons, coming on a late blitz up the middle from his safety spot. And once Esquerdo got past the line of scrimmage, he almost took it into the end zone.
Esquerdo, only 18 years old.
He's a good one.
Full house backfield. Esquerdo. And he gets down to the 3-yard line. Close to the first down.
Question here will be whether he does have the first down. If he does have the first down, he'll give him a new 3 downs from about the 3-yard line, try and punch it in. Well, the Husky player is slow getting up down there.
Craig Kerwin, the defensive tackle, number 66, is the injured ball player. Procedure call goes against the Dinosaurs. And that will make it 2nd down and 7. With the ball right on the 10-yard line.
Well, that injury timeout gives the quarterback Torrance a chance to go over and talk to the coaching staff at the Calgary bench.
He's a big one, 6'1", 200 pounds, physically bigger than Flynn, and you know, the type of guy that might be able to make it in the pro game.
Well, it's interesting. Both Flynn and Torrance are sophomores. We're going to see a lot more of them in college football over the next 2 years.
2nd down and 7 from the 10. Sheffer is into the backfield now as they go to the full house. Only one split receiver. Fake to Esquerdo, play action. Zimmerman, 24, has it, and he now is close to that first down marker. Ken Walcott, number 8, comes in to make the stop.
Well, they like that play action. This time Zimmerman sneaking out of the backfield, catches that, and Kevin Reed, number 79, came up and really popped him, but he spun off him and is very close to that first down.
Kevin Reed playing both ways this afternoon. Offensively, he's replacing Bill Scollard, who's moved from slot back to quarterback. Well, defensively, he's playing inside.
Last game of the year, you can play 60 minutes if you have to.
Long time to rest up.
That's right. They did get that first down, and this will give them 3 new downs to try and get that second TD of the afternoon.
Torrance keeps it himself and doesn't get in, but does get very close.
For the 3-yard line, he came awfully close on a quarterback sneak of just getting in there. He's got a big offensive line in front of him. They weigh 260, 275, 275, 240. He's got some big ones up in front there.
Peter Cannellan, the coach of the Dinosaurs, was telling me that he thinks that his offensive line is actually bigger than the Calgary Stampeders' offensive line.
That's right.
You like to be a quarterback, Russ, walking up behind that line.
You got it. Peter Cannella, the head coach, he sits up in the booth. This is where he coaches from. He leaves the assistants down on the sideline.
Torrance takes it in. He follows the left guard, Tony Loretta, and the center, Paul Kerber, into the end zone. And the Dinosaurs, with a surge early in the second quarter, are in command.
Well, we've talked so much about the poor field position they had. They've been able to move this ball. This time, Torrance on the second quarterback sneak from the 3-yard line. First one got him to the 1. He took it in, and the score now 13-1, with the convert now possibly making it 14-1.
Torrance had a dismal start in this ball game. He was 1 of 5 with an interception early, but now he's in command, as are the Dinosaurs. So with the score, Calgary 14 and SMU 1. We'll be back in a moment.
Calgary, Sean Furlong caught the game's first touchdown pass. You couldn't run on them early, but you've been able to throw quite well.
No, we tried to get our running game going early and it didn't work out, so we tried to use action passes, and we had a little action pass to me, and I got open and got for 6.
Well, it's a great start, I suppose. It took a while to get going, but now you've got the lead.
Yeah, it feels great.
Thanks, Sean.
Thanks.
Sean Furlong, by the way, the son of ex-CFLer Jim Furlong.
Yes. Those names just keep popping up.
Caron, 21, has it across the 35. And once again, it's Dunkel that's in there to make the stop. He's the man that was down quickly and pushed the ball out of bounds the last time. So St. Mary's has the football across the 35. Ball marked down at the 38. And Bill Scollard, I think, knows now that he has to put some points on the board.
That's right, but they're still maintaining good field position, and that has to speak well for this offense, because if they get marched back to their own goal area, it's going to be a little more difficult. So Scollard has got a lot of confidence in himself. I still think he can do the job.
Matson is back in the ballgame, number 31 at running back. There's the reverse to Kevin Reed. Reed up towards the 42-yard line. Flag on the play. And it's a procedure call against St. Mary's. Scollard actually looked confused when he spun around, and there was no one to give the ball to.
Well, it took a long time for him to come here. We've got a second flag thrown here. I think the St. Mary's player lost a little poise, and they might be getting something else. Might be the other way in terms of what took place.
Coach Larry Utek well out onto the field to try to get the explanation.
Ian McDonald was complaining a little bit after the first flag was thrown because he was called for illegal procedure a couple of times out as a wide receiver in the first quarter. They're still trying to straighten this one out. We'll wait until they tell us. A lot of different conversations going on, but one linesman is talking to Ian McDonald, maybe explaining what he is calling. We have to add and subtract all this and find out where the ball is going to go.
There's
where the
face mask, and then
that's where the objectionable conduct came in as the Calgary player grabbed the mask.
as he's looking into the eyes of the official. That tells me that's not a great place to be doing that.
Not really. Number 72, Rob Furlan in the middle of that one for the Dinosaurs.
It ends up being a 10-yard loss for St. Mary's, who now have first down and 20. Shotgun formation. Constant Nicolopoulos, the center, gets it back to Scollard, who throws deep for McDonald. Nealon, rather, 70, goes off his fingers. Heaton is there on the coverage as Matt Nealon made a pretty good effort.
Wow, Scollard throwing into double coverage here because Dave Heaton was a free safety out there, and he just came over here and almost made the interception. It was a good job on McDonald's part to keep Heaton from pulling that one down and getting the second turnover for the Dinosaurs.
Second down and 20. Calgary Calgary leads it 14-1, 10 minutes remaining in the first half. They didn't get a first down until the final play of the first quarter, and then quickly scored 2 touchdowns. Quick kick. Schollard, 2 onside men trying to track this down. Van Bellum will come up with the football and gets the ball to the 39-yard line. Schollard is down there to make the tackle.
Oh, we talked to Billy Roberts about the possibility of a quick kick with Schollard being in that short punt quite often, and there we had it. And his comment was, well, it won't bounce quite as far as it normally does on that turf we've got at St. Mary's. There we see the head coach of the Calgary Dinosaurs, Peter Cannellan, up in the booth, telling the assistant coaches on the sideline what he wants to have happen. And some people believe that's a good way of coaching. Other people feel the head coach should be on the sidelines.
Torrance the pitch out to Esquerdo. Esquerdo cuts inside, has the first down. And Esquerdo gets all the way up to center field. Dunthorne makes the stop. The ball comes loose, but it may have been after his knee touchdown, in which case it will be spotted at the 54-yard line.
Well, Esquerdo, who's got great speed and a great sense of where to go following that blocking. And number 24, Rob Zimmerman, got up in front of him. He turns his back inside with Zimmerman's block and turned it upfield. And Dunthorne really put a good hit on him and slowed him down. The ball did come loose, but they ruled that he had been down. The ground caused the fumble.
19-yard gain on the play. Ball at St. Mary's 54-yard line.
Peter, you get the sense now that the Dinosaurs have their offense going. They seem to know what they want to do now, mixing the run and the pass. And after Torrance missed a few open receivers early, he's been able to complete all his passes since that drive late in the first quarter.
Esquerdo. McKenzie, number 7, is one of many Huskies in on the stop. Dunthorne 40, Brennan 45. Gain of 5, second down and 5.
It's interesting that the team going into the wind has been able to move the ball a little bit better than when they have the wind at their backs. And maybe, and I often thought myself as a quarterback, you tend to use more of your offense when you have to go against the wind. Whereas when you get the wind, you think you got the big play going for you.
St. Mary's defense dominated the early part. Fumble. Torrance picks it up and is downed almost immediately. I think it was just a bad exchange.
Well, we take it for granted that the center's going to get the ball to the quarterback every time. And every once in a while, that quarterback will tend to move away just a little bit early, or the center, who may have a tough block, tends to move away with that lead foot when he's trying to get to his block, and then the exchange isn't clean. That time, tough situation for the Dinosaurs, but the Huskies now are going to get this ball on the third down punt.
Torrance pulled out as if he was going to roll out left and pulled his hand away from where the ball usually comes. Maddox kicking into the wind, and it goes out of bounds. And that will give St. Mary's possession at about the 25-yard line. But the score, Calgary 14, St. Mary's 1. We'll be back in just a moment. First down for the Huskies, who trail 14-1. Ball is at their 26-yard line. The momentum is swung to the Calgary Dinosaurs. Bill Schollard with the pressure of trying to put some points on the board now. Usually a punter. Inside, knocked away, almost intercepted. Mondin. It was intended for Smith. Schollard tried the hot pattern inside.
Well, Schollard trying to get that quick pro pass to Brian Smith, number 73, but Mondin stepped right in front of him, and if he'd been able to bring that down, he was gone for 6 points.
From the shotgun formation, second down and 10. Schollard with some time, throws for Smith, who has it. But Dunkel has him immediately. So a punting situation again for the Huskies.
Well, man-to-man defense that time, and for the first time this afternoon, the Dinosaurs brought more than 4 rushers, forcing the Scholar to throw that ball out quickly to Smith, and Dunkel was right there on top of him to stop him for no gain.
J.P. Esquerdo being tended to on the sideline by the training staff.
Gentlemen, I don't know if you can hear me or not, but it looks as though his left arm has gone numb. His left hand is numb. They're not sure at this point whether he'll have to come out and stay out a while, but we'll find out and get back.
Great punt by Scholar, driving Brown deep to his own 33-yard line on the reverse. Hildebrand all the way up to the 53-yard line, making it the 52-yard line of St. Mary's. A flag on the play, however, way back where the ball was caught.
Just a great play with timing as Brown caught that long punt, and you can't get a better punt than something like that that hangs up there for a long time, gives everybody time to get in position, and then he just casually handed that ball to Hildebrand, who turned the corner and got well downfield to midfield. But a blocking in the back penalty is going to bring it back to the 36-yard line. It's just a great play.
Big punt by Scholar, and actually, because of the penalty, they get good field position as far as the Huskies are concerned, driving the Dinos back to their 36-yard line. Torrance, who has had the hot hand here in the second quarter. Play fake. Going deep for the bomb again to Brown. Wedderburn is there this time and can't hang on to it. This time, Wedderburn was not beaten. In fact, he had great position on the receiver.
Well, he had great position on Brown this time. He's inside. The ball was underthrown just a little bit. It hung up there in the wind. You can see Brown was just that step and a half, but Winterburn got turned around, had that great inside position, and almost made the interception.
Brown has the big speed as far as the receivers on Calgary are concerned. He's a first-team All-Star in the CIAU this season. Torrance throws left. And that will be short of the first down, but a 5-yard gain on the play.
Well, Guy Sheffer in there replacing Esquerdo, caught that short pass, but Dunthorne, number 40, that outside linebacker, was right on his back.
3rd down and 5. And the punting situation for Brent Matic.
Well, with Sheffer in there, we have to think that Esquerdo is not healthy down there, and maybe we'll have to keep track of that because he was starting to run that ball quite well for the Dinosaurs.
Guys, they're going to keep him out until halftime, then they're going to have a look at it. He's damaged a nerve in the left hand.
Thank you, Lance. 6 minutes left in this first half. McDonald, number 80, drops it, picks it up, falls down himself, and in the Canadian college game, if your knee touches the ground, even if there's no one around you, the ball is down there, and that is exactly what happened on that play.
Now, got to be frustrating. That was a good low kick into the wind, and if McDonald had handled it cleanly, he had some running room in front of him. But in that anticipation, he dropped it, put his knee down, and as you say, Peter, in college football, once that knee is down, contact or no, that's where the ball is blown dead.
Nealon, number 70, has the ball up to about the 37.5, 38-yard line, and if that's where they mark it, it'll be a first down.
Well, Nealon playing on that left side just made a quick turnout pattern at about 6 or 7 yards. The ball got there on time. He turned it upfield for that first down. Nealon having 3 receptions this afternoon for 21 yards.
McDonald split out wide right, Nealon wide left. Matson on the inside move and gets up across the 40, maybe to the 41-yard line. Very short gain in the play, 2 yards. Mahoney is in on the stop, number 42, along with Wood, number 41, in nose tackle.
Oh, Mike Korecki, number 42, coming into the offensive huddle in a hurry. I'm sure bringing a play from Billy Robinson.
He moves into a tackle spot. Scollard is sacked on the play. Mahoney, number 42, in to make the stop. And St. Mary's will be forced to punt.
I shouldn't speak too soon, but the weather down here is absolutely great. There is a wind above the stadium, but there's virtually no wind at field level. The conditions are terrific, and the sun is trying to peek out. I couldn't be happier.
Nice for you to say, Lance.
That may be some of the lights they've turned on. He's seeing it thanks to the sun.
4 minutes, 20 seconds remaining. First half, St. Mary's punting. Bill Scollard again gets a good kick. Brown takes it at the 37 and will get up to the 47-yard line. Lee, number 77, is in on the stop, along with number 7, Doug McKenzie.
Scollard again getting down there on that tackle, and he's doing a lot of things for this St. Mary's team. I'm sure the coaching staff would say, just slow down a little bit. We need you to play quarterback today.
Well, without Flynn, I'd say that he's the only impact player that they have, and if something's going to happen, he has to make it happen.
Well, you look for one person to make that big play, but I don't think they want him to make it by trying to go head-to-head with some of the players coming downfield returning those punts.
No, if he gets knocked out of the game, it doesn't really help things fully. Bob Torrance, the quarterback, hands off. First man through is Zimmerman. Zimmerman into the open. And Zimmerman in a foot race with Wedderburn. And Wedderburn holds him up enough for Richardson to come back and make the tackle. 32-yard gain for Rob Zimmerman.
Just a quick handoff to the right here as number 24 Zimmerman finds the hole, cuts back over the middle, and breaks through again. Jim Fitzsimmons' arm tackle finally being pulled down by Richardson, number 27.
First carry of the ball game for Zimmerman. Sheffer, number 29, flag on the play, and Sheffer has about 3 yards around the left end, but a flag down. Sheffer replacing the injured J.P. Esquerdo. And Zimmerman, who carried that ball 2 plays ago, actually has a better per carry average than Esquerdo, even though on the season Esquerdo had 729 yards. Zimmerman, no slouch, 377 yards, and a 5.4-yard average compared to 5.3-yard average for Esquerdo.
Well, when you run out of that I formation, you expect that tailback to get the ball most of the time, Esquerdo, and when they give it to Zimmerman, he's got good quickness getting through the line of scrimmage, and certainly is deserving of that 5+ yards per carry.
Esquerdo's back in there, guys. They taped up his left arm. He's got some numbness in the fingers, but he's back in playing now.
We'll see if he gets the ball on 2nd down and 8. Straight drop back over the middle. Almost picked off by Karazakis. Gus Karazakis drops back, and that will bring Brian DeMug into the ballgame to attempt the field goal. Interesting story, he played junior football all this season for the Calgary Colts. And only late in the season did he join this team as a kicker.
Well, Karazakis here had a chance at his 2nd interception as the intended receiver was covered very closely by Rob Brennan, number 45. Karazakis seemed a little surprised it was being thrown in the middle, just reached up that left arm and didn't get both hands on it. Otherwise, he could have had, as they say, his 2nd interception.
So DeMug will have the ball spotted for him at the 36-yard line. Brown is the holder. Kick is up and good. So the field goal puts Calgary further ahead with 2 minutes 52 seconds remaining in the first half. The Dinosaurs lead it 17-1. We'll be back in a moment. Not a happy coach, Larry Utek, at this moment. He sees the momentum totally slipping away. Ironically, the teams that have had the wind in their face have been able to move the ball. St. Mary's in the first quarter and Calgary here in the second quarter.
That's true, Peter, but I think really what has switched here now, I think the offensive line of the Dinosaurs is starting to dominate the defensive line of the Huskies.
The bigger man wears you down eventually. Bill Scollard, the veteran player but rookie quarterback, throwing deep for McDonald, and he almost has it with 2nd effort. Mark Kook is the man covering Ian McDonald.
On a play like that, there's really no second guessing. That ball got back to Scollard. He just looked out there and threw that ball up in the air. He wasn't looking anybody off. He was just saying, McDonald, I've thrown it up there. You go get it. And he almost did a good job of getting the tip. But number 12 did a good job of knocking it away. But there's no second guessing out there with Scollard. That ball was going to McDonald from the time it was centered.
And over 50 yards in the air, the pass. So I guess if we were wondering about his arm, we don't have to.
No, not at all.
From the shotgun formation, Murray is checked into the backfield with the play for Scollard. Scollard fakes up the middle, and he's brought down.
Well, he was trying to dump a screen pass out to Phil Matzat. They used that early in the first quarter for a good gain, but a good defensive cover by the linebacker from Calgary prevented him from dumping it off to Matzat, and he got trapped.
Chris Flynn wishing that he could be in this ball game, knowing that he would have obviously made a major difference.
Well, it has to be very frustrating for him after such a great season. It isn't just a matter of not being able to play, but having had the great season, having been picked the outstanding player in CIAU football this year, and then not being able to play in the championship game.
Scollard punting. It's a short punt. Dunkel, number 21, who's not even one of the deep receivers, but who has had a very good ball game so far, comes up with the ball with 2:07 to go. The Dinosaurs will try to put some more points on the board before the half. It has been a great week here at the Vanier Cup, the final Vanier Cup at Varsity Stadium. Next year, we move our CTV cameras indoors to the new Toronto Domed Stadium.
Ah, you'll miss being cold like this, Peter.
That is one game we're going to enjoy doing.
Coat.
I'm going to wear shorts, I think. Just to prove a point. Torrance, pitch out. Izquierdo up the middle, puts his helmet down, drives across the 50-yard line. Dunthorne and Karazakis made the stop. We mentioned the great week it's been, and at halftime, Lance Brown will take you through some of the festivities, show you the All-Canadians, the outstanding players in Canadian college football this year, the Coach of the Year celebration, and, of course, the Russ Jackson Trophy. Russ, you had the pleasure of presenting that last night to quite a nice young man.
Just an outstanding young man, and at halftime, you'll get to meet him.
Second down and 4. Izquierdo left side. Dunthorne has the angle on him. Reed comes over 79, but Izquierdo has the first down. Even though they're at this point trailing the ball game, you have to like Kevin Reed. Rusty's been going both ways, not taking a breather, and playing very effectively for a guy who was really listed as a backup last week.
That's right. Well, they've got defensive players hurt, so he has to play defense, and with Scollard having to go into quarterback, he's that backup slot back, so he's having to go both ways. So having not played a great deal all year, he will wear down a bit, but the adrenaline in a game like this does keep you going.
Play fake actually to Izquierdo, and Torrance gets nailed as he throws it, intending it for Brown, but Torrance had Doug McKenzie in his face.
Well, we talked about the quarterback, Bob Torrance, getting that ball away before the receivers are looking. This time he got it away, but it was because of the pressure he had on him from the two St. Mary's players that he had to throw that ball just before Brown could actually get in position for the reception.
Craig Harrison comes out for the Dinosaurs. Kevin Kazan, number 92, comes in. He is a deep threat. In fact, caught a couple of touchdown passes against Saskatchewan. Torrance rolls right, pumps once, now puts it up for Izquierdo. And Richardson comes across, number 27, to put the helmet in.
Well, number 45, Rob Brennan, was looking there, too, and the crowd sort of oohed and awed as you could almost see that hit coming. There it is. Number 45, linebacker, got back there, as well as number 27, Barry Richardson.
Bob Brennan, 45, and when the receivers all extended like that, I know it's you fear for the ribs every time.
Well, you can see that coming, and the fans were into the oohing and awing almost before he got hit.
It is a pretty good crowd here, too, Russ. We thought early in the day that it wasn't going to be, but they keep coming in. Between the 20s, it's pretty packed. Great punt. Actually went through the posts, rolls deep to the end of the end zone. McDonald giving it some thought and then wisely deciding that maybe one knee is the best bet. So the minute and 20 to go, St. Mary's will have the ball brought out, a 60-yard punt. And that's into the wind, so either the wind is dying down or it's negligible with the punts, because that was his best kick of the day.
Yeah, they were anticipating the wind was going to get stronger as the afternoon went along, but as we heard from field level, apparently down there the wind isn't too bad.
Dinosaur fans cheering early here as they have the big lead, 18-1. A number of ex-Dinosaur players came in for this game. A couple of CFLers, in fact. Mike Shiroska, one of them. They were telling me they're the leftovers from the Vanier Cup winning team of 5 years ago to this date. Nealon on the inside pattern will have the first down. He lined up wide. Heaton makes the stop, but he lined up wide and just cut to the middle.
Well, just a straight slant, and it's one of those plays where the quarterback just has to anticipate where the open area is, and the receiver has to get there to get the ball. That time worked perfectly.
Nealon, one of the little used receivers throughout the year, but I've liked him the past couple of weeks.
Oh, he's a big target. He's a big kid. They like him. He's from Hull, Quebec, and he doesn't mind getting hit going over the middle.
He actually grew up very near my old hometown of Thunder Bay in Nipigon, Ontario. This is Kevin Reed, the guy that's going both ways. And he has a gain of about 9 on the play.
And he did a good job of getting out of bounds. He came to the outside. He'll stop the clock now with a 2nd and about 2 situation. St. Mary's moving the ball the best they have in this second quarter.
We mentioned Nealon. He grew up in and around Buckingham, Quebec with Chris Flynn, and they've been together through their junior college football days, and then they moved together out to Halifax.
I wonder if they're roommates on the road.
Surprised Flynn doesn't go to him more often. Usually the good buddy gets the ball more. Scollard waits and delivers to Smith right side, and Smith is tripped up on a good defensive play by Hildebrand, or else he may have gone.
Well, you talk about the coaching. Smith had one thing in mind when he caught that ball. He was trying to get out of bounds. He wanted to stop the clock. Since he didn't, St. Mary's have now used their second timeout. They had to use one earlier when Scollard had a bit of a problem on a play call early in the first quarter.
46 seconds left, lots of time, but this is the best drive that Scollard has engineered on the day.
Well, Smith is going there, and I'm not sure whether he fumbled that ball intentionally, maybe to get it to roll out of bounds and try and get the clock stopped that way. But he was down, the knee was down, and they had to stop the clock via timeout.
It looked a little suspicious, Russ. Let's just put it that way.
A little bit. And the brain trust of the St. Mary's team talking to Scollard, trying to decide what they're going to do with only 46 seconds to go and exactly 40 yards between them and the goal line.
In the middle of that situation, Billy Robinson, who was an outstanding quarterback in his own time and really coordinating the offense for St. Mary's.
Well, he unfortunately ended up in Ottawa as a young Canadian quarterback when they had that great twosome of Clements and Holloway. And really didn't give him much opportunity to try and show his wares in terms of getting any playing time. But just a great guy and a great individual to be working with these young men at St. Mary's.
They've got a fine program out there. Ball is right on the 40-yard line. Scollard wants to throw again, gets good protection, and throws deep for Nealon. And Nealon has it at the 10, the 5. No, they mark him out at the 10. One official kept running along with him, but Nealon has it at the 10-yard line. A 24-yard pass play, Scollard to Nealon. And the Huskies are alive with 37 seconds remaining.
Wow, that ball was thrown just terrific as he got that ball out over the shoulder of Nealon, reared back. You can see he got it on the outside. Nealon was just pushed out of bounds, but they did stop the clock.
37 seconds left. Fumble! Scollard goes back and gets it, but he'll be back at the 15-yard line. And now Billy Robinson and Larry Utek yelling out to Bill Scollard to take it up to the ball, but they'll bring it back for the huddle instead. And that means the clock will go with 35 seconds and counting. Scollard wants to make sure they know what he wants them to do on 2nd down and 15. I wouldn't be surprised to see them go on 3rd down if they didn't make it. They need the touchdown. 23 seconds. He's watched 12, 15 seconds now run off the clock. Wants to go to the right side. Has Nealon open. Touchdown.
Just a great job by quarterback Bill Scollard as he got the ball out there to Nealon, who's been doing all the work coming downfield. He beat number 15, Mike Hildebrand, but he threw the ball out over top of Nealon, and that has to be one of the toughest catches you have to make. Coming right over top of your helmet. He not only juggled it a little bit, but as he went down to the ground, he hung on to it, and that has to give St. Mary's a big lift.
Big block by Constant Nikolopoulos, the offensive center, who somehow got Alan Wood just on a brush block. He was double-teamed over the middle. And if we can see to this angle, Russ, I don't know, but Nikolopoulos made the brush block on Wood, who was right in Schollard's face, and then just drilled him.
But Scollard does a great job. He's going back. He didn't get set up completely, but he lofted it out there. But Nealon, to me, had to make the great catches. It's coming off over the top. But the kid Nealon, Scollard, they've done it in this last few minutes for St. Mary's, and they've got them back in the ball game going in at halftime.
Dave Brown did all the work in that one drive for Calgary late in the first quarter, but Matt Nealon, definitely the man who did it all for St. Mary's in that drive. 3 catches for 54 yards and the touchdown as the Huskies put points on the board late in this first half.
Got to be a great confidence builder for Scollard as well.
We were watching last week, don't forget, Jerry Foster, the kicker, with the left foot short kick. Will he try it? You got it. Oh, and it took the bounce they wanted, but right into the Calgary players' hands. It took the bounce they were hoping for. And now that gives Bob Torrance 10 seconds to still come down and try to at least get into field goal range. They have all their timeouts remaining.
Good shot, Jerry.
Well, they tried that short kickoff. They told me they have 4 different short kickoffs. This one actually is kicked with the right foot where he just dribbled it forward. They got the great 10 yards. It bounced up in the air, but unfortunately for the Huskies, the Calgary player was there, picked it out of the air, and now, as you say, they got 2 timeouts and a ball in center field.
I thought the Argos didn't play till tomorrow. Got the old Argo bounce. 9 seconds remaining. Esquerdo left side, as it looks like Calgary will be content to let the clock run out.
Well, with no penalty, we're going to see one more play this half with 6 seconds to go, but
Torrance called the timeout. If you're going to call a timeout, it's obvious you're trying to get into range for something. If that's the case, why do you just hand the ball off?
Well, we're not going to second-guess those offensive coordinators. Last week we had a problem with Bishops when we blamed the offensive coordinator for that quarterback draw on a 3rd and 1 yard situation, finding out this week that it was the quarterback who made that decision after he got into the huddle.
So Phil Sharon of Bishops was taking a little flack from his buddies all week.
So, yeah. Well, we'll straighten that one out for you, Bill.
Phil, you're off the hook.
Yeah. But you think they'll air the ball out here. They're going to try, I would think, with the last play of the half. You think they're going to air it out there to Brown. He's got the great speed. See if they can get it, even a penalty, if they can get a defensive call or something like that.
E.T. phone home. Coach Cannellan has
he's gone
downstairs.
Yeah. With a few notes, I think, about that drive at the end of this half.
Well, they have to have some respect now for Bill Scollard.
And a guy by the name of Nealon.
You got it. It looked like he was going to kneel down, then he throws it. Bob Torrance with a clever little play. He looked like he was going down to his knee and then stood up and fired.
Well, I'm not sure I like that, Peter. I will defend the defensive line this time because you're not supposed to hit a guy when he goes down, when he kneels down. And I think whenever you fake another player into that situation, they sometimes do it in the end zone and they call them for that because you try and fake them and then someone hits you. The rule's there for a purpose, and I'm not sure I appreciate it.
The next time, they're not going to slow
They
down.
will lower the boom on him, and then, unfortunately, make it a penalty call.
And that's exactly what they do. They come on this one. And this time, Torrance does ground it, and that will effectively end the first half of play. So, the score, Calgary 18, SMU 8. We'll be back with our halftime show of the Canadian University Football Championship, the Vanier Cup.
We are back at the Vanier Cup. Calgary leading St. Mary's by 10 points at halftime. It has been an outstanding week, not only for football, but also for awards. The players began their awards presentations on Wednesday with the All-Canadian selections. The 1988 Nestle All-Canadian Awards were held at Toronto's Hilton Hotel downtown on Wednesday of this Vanier Cup week. The 24 All-Canadians representing each of the 4 CIAU regions were honored. Players are considered by a committee of coaches, 2 coaches from each region, for a spot on either offense or defense. The players were paid tribute to by Frank Cella of Nestle Enterprises.
The fact is that you do more for us than we'll ever do for you. Words that come off the page when I read the coach's comments are words like mobility, dedication, toughness, quickness, intensity, determination, dynamism, strength, speed, attitude, and aggressiveness. These are the words that have been used this year to describe you, to describe what you're all about as a person, not just as a football player. For me, the sum of all of those words, and I believe for all of us, is the belief in yourself, the belief that you truly can make a difference. You've proven that this year. It was on a football field, but nevertheless, it symbolizes what can be done beyond a football field. It symbolizes how much one person can truly make a difference if he or she deeply believes that they can make a difference. Thank you for helping to remind us of that very important truth. Congratulations to all of you for this achievement of excellence, and thank you for making a difference. Good luck.
Here are the 12 All-Canadian choices on offense for 1988. The center is Paul Kerber, a 22-year-old education major from Calgary and a Stampeders draft choice. The guards are Paul Vida out of Concordia University in Montreal, and from St. Mary's University in Halifax, sociology major Louis Olsacker. The tackles, 2 real big guys, Cameron Huskies of the Dinosaurs, 6'4", 275. And not to be outdone from Concordia, Richard McCrory, 6'4" and 279. The tight end is Guelph's Jim Farrell, a 25-year-old engineering major with the Griffins. The slot back is from the University of Saskatchewan, Dan Farthing, CIAU Rookie of the Year in 1987. Wide receivers from Queen's University, Jock Climby, who set a receiving record, and Calgary's Dave Brown, who averaged a touchdown per game this year. The running backs from the Alberta Golden Bears in Edmonton, Western League Player of the Week 3 times, Tom Howe. From Carleton in Ottawa, the Ravens political science major, Mark Brown. And the quarterback is St. Mary's star Chris Flynn, 2,000 yards passing and 500 yards rushing. The 12 All-Canadians on defense are by and large older than the offensive stars and do not include one member from either of the 2 final teams. The front 4 or down linemen include Acadia's Scott Nicholson, 6'2", 245, a JP Metris nominee. Saskatchewan's Byron McCorkle and other finalists, 6'2", 260, a 27-year-old. The Metris Trophy winner, Wilfrid Laurier's defensive end, Varen Stiliadis, 6'2", 230. And from the Ontario-Quebec Conference champions, Bishop's Derek Joseph, 6'2", 260. The linebackers from Bishop's, Leroy Blue, a starter for 4 years and President's Trophy winner. A finalist for the trophy from St. Mary's, Scott Dunthorne, an Ottawa native. Mark Singer from the University of Alberta, the smallest and most experienced of the lot, 5'11" and 26 years old. And Gord Weber from the Ottawa GGs, a leisure studies major. The defensive backs from Waterloo, President's Trophy nominee Larry Vaughn, a Starkville, Mississippi native. From McGill, 21-year-old communications major Vincent Gagné. Acadia's Dan Murphy, a 6'3" defensive back and an Ottawa native. And Alberta's Trent Brown, a 22-year-old pre-law student from Edmonton. The 24 most outstanding players at their positions in Canada, we'll call them Nestle CIAU All-Canadians. On Thursday night, American Express sponsors the CIAU Outstanding Player Awards. 4 presentations are made to the Outstanding Rookie, Outstanding Lineman, Best Defensive, and MVPs. There are 16 men tuxedoed for this event, 4 in each category, 1 from each conference nominated for each of the 4 awards. The first presentation is to the top rookie over the past season. This is the Peter Gorman Trophy, named after the late creator of the College Bowl in 1965, forerunner of the Vanier Cup. Nominees from Mount Allison, running back Grant Keeney, who in his first year made an impressive debut, an All-Star. From Ottawa, 19-year-old David Lewis, in on 27 tackles in 7 games. From the U of Guelph, running back Chuck Sims, who totaled 911 yards rushing. And from the U of Manitoba Bisons, 18-year-old DB Brad Freund, who intercepted 3 passes over 6 regular season games.
The winner of the Peter Gorman Trophy for Outstanding Rookie in the CIAU, Grant Keeney, Mount Allison University.
The winner from the Mount Allison Mounties, 5'9", 185-pound, 19-year-old Grant Keeney. 468 yards on 81 carries, 19 receptions for 194 yards. Coached by Steve Bruno at Mount Allison, who noted Grant's power running and breakaway outside speed, helped to 5 touchdowns this year. Here, one example of the freshman's ability.
I've got to start up by saying one thing, and that's for all us rookies out there, you know, I just met these guys for the first time today, and, you know, they're a great bunch of guys, and the same thing for all rookies across the country, and I mean, all we are is just a bunch of guys getting out of high school, and all we want is a chance. And, lucky for us, I guess we were fortunate enough to get that chance in our first year and actually prove what all rookies want to just do and just prove ourselves on the field.
This is the second of the evening's 4 awards, the J.P. Mentris Trophy, awarded annually to the outstanding lineman in Canadian university football. Named after the late John Pius Mentris, who coached at Western for 30 years. Past winners include St. Mary's grad and Edmonton Eskimo veteran Heck Potier. The nominees from Acadia, 22-year-old nose tackle Scott Nicholson, often double-teamed. From Concordia, 22-year-old offensive guard Paul Vida, starter and an all-star in both his seasons. From Wilfrid Laurier, 23-year-old Viren Stiliadis, who led his team in both tackles and sacks as a defensive end, a 3-time all-star. And from Saskatchewan, Byron McCorkle, defensive captain of his club for 3 seasons from the nose tackle squad.
From Wilfrid Laurier University, Viren Stiliadis.
The winner from the Wilfrid Laurier Golden Hawks, Viren Stiliadis, whom the coaches call the best in 2 decades at Laurier. A draft choice in 1986 of the Toronto Argonauts.
First, I'd like to thank the Lord. I'd like to thank my family, thank the coaches for picking for this thing. I'd like to thank American Express for making this possible. I'd like to thank all my coaches at school, my players. Without them, I wouldn't be here. That's it. Thank you.
The President's Trophy is awarded each season to the outstanding defensive player, non-lineman in the country. It was donated in 1980. The nominees from St. Mary's in Halifax, 24-year-old linebacker Scott Dunthorne, 22 initial tackles, 34 assists, a starter for 4 years. Leroy Blue, a 22-year-old linebacker from Bishops. He moved to inside linebacker this season and led the conference in total tackles. Defensive back Larry Vaughn, 28 years old and in his 3rd year at Waterloo, a solid 5'9", 190. And linebacker Mark Singer from the University of Alberta, 40 initial tackles, 49 helpers, and 4 interceptions for the Golden Bears.
Patience does pay off. Leroy Blue, Bishops University.
The winner from the Bishops Gators, Leroy Blue, an All-Canadian and President's Trophy nominee in 86 and 87. Blue was left out of the winner's circle until this year. 63 tackles and 12 sacks for the 22-year-old 4th-year economics student.
Also, Bishops University and Tom Allen and Brett and Bruce Coulter, the coaches, for giving me the opportunity to get an education and play football. Thank you very much.
And this is the Heck Crichton Trophy for Canada's most outstanding university football player, donated in 1967 in honor of the late Heck Crichton, player, coach, referee, and author of the official football rulebook. Nominees from St. Mary's quarterback Chris Flynn, a 22-year-old second-year player who passed for more than 2,000 yards. From Queens, wide receiver Chuck Climby, a 20-year-old third-year player who set a CIAU record for reception. From Guelph, 22-year-old quarterback Mike Shoemaker, who led all conference quarterbacks with a 68.6 completion record. And from Saskatchewan, wide receiver Dan Farthing, the Rookie of the Year last year, 33 catches for 756 yards.
Of the Heck Crichton Award as top player in the CIAU, Chris Flynn, St. Mary's University.
The winner, the favorite, 22-year-old Chris Flynn, 2,052 yards and 21 touchdowns passing, 471 yards on 59 carries rushing, 3 touchdowns, the complete quarterback who suffered an eye injury last weekend against Bishops. Then, upon accepting the Creighton Trophy on his 22nd birthday, Flynn, who had not missed a game in 8 years due to injury, dropped the bombshell.
I'd like to thank them. They've done a lot more for me over the last past 8 years than they think. Second of all, I'd like to thank my teammates. You know, to win a Heck Creighton Trophy, you have to play on a great team, and I do play on a great team, and I'd like to thank all my teammates, especially my offensive line. Guys, I appreciate what you do for me on every play and in every game, and you don't get the credit you deserve, but I just like you to know that I realize what you do, and I appreciate it. Finally, I'd like to thank my coaches, all my coaches, especially Coach Robinson. He do anything for me, and he cares about me, and I care about him, and I appreciate everything he's done for me. And of course, Coach Utek for bringing me to St. Mary's. I'd like to thank all my coaches and all these people. I guess I might as well get the facts straight now. I saw the doctor a couple hours ago, and I suffered a hairline fracture above my right eye, and the bone above my right eye, and if I was to play Saturday and get hit there, I could suffer brain damage, so obviously I'm not playing, but the defense will pull together like they've done all year, and the St. Mary's will pull together, and you can expect a great game from St. Mary's this weekend. Thanks.
This is the Vanier Cup, Canada's University Football Championship. On Thursday afternoon, the Canadian Football League played host to the Canadian University Coach of the Year luncheon. The Old Crow Society, a group of Carleton University football alumni, award a plaque in honor of Frank Tyndall, head coach at Queens for 29 seasons prior to his retirement in 1975. It's a chance for football men and football coaches from across the country to get together and pay tribute to one of their own, the top university football coach in Canada. This year's winner from St. Mary's in Halifax, Larry Utek, the first coach ever from Husky Stadium to win the award. A native of Toronto, Utek played university ball at Colorado and Wilfrid Laurier. He played his pro ball in Toronto with the Argos, with stops later in BC, Montreal, and finally Ottawa as a defensive back. Utek took the Huskies from 0-7-0 in 1984 to 7-0-0 in 1988, an Atlantic Bowl championship and the #1 ranking in Canada.
I'm certainly greatly honored to be able to accept this trophy, especially to be listed amongst great coaches that I have had. Something I was already introduced today, which I was very fortunate to go to school for only 1 year, actually, to finish off university in Canadian College. I took an American scholarship, something I downgrade these days to potential recruit. So I'll tell you, when I went to Laurier, that brought back my faith in football and my love of football. I had been turned off somewhat by the American College, and I came to a school that did me wonders. And I have everything to thank Chuck Knight and Rich Newell for that. I'd like to thank all of the assistant coaches. One thing I can't thank enough is the support we've got, not only from our university, but from the community of Halifax. It's a great city to live in. I'm a transplanted Torontonian, I don't think I'd leave Halifax for the world. Thank you very much.
36-year-old Larry Utek, the CIAU Coach of the Year. On Friday night, Jeep Eagle Canada and an old McMaster grad got together to present the Russ Jackson Trophy, awarded to the player who best combines ability, leadership, sportsmanship, and
Because a young
citizenship
man like
through the
this
season.
not only represents his university, his family, and all of us sitting here tonight in three very outstanding ways: as an athlete, as a pure athlete, as a young man who's done well academically and is continuing to do well academically, but again, as I mentioned earlier, done so well in that area we often forget about, and that is the citizenship within his own community. I would like you to welcome the third winner of the Russ Jackson Trophy from Mount Allison University, their quarterback, their punter, their outstanding scholar, and outstanding citizen, Andrew Allison. Would you come forward, please?
The winner from Atlantic Canada's Mount Allison Mounties, Andrew Allison, who completed 103 of 202 for 1,584 yards. Off the field, he's an associate pastor, and he has been on the Dean's Honor List at school for the past 3 years.
Well, sure, it's a pleasure to be with you here tonight. There's so many people that I thought I should say hi to and at least acknowledge their presence. The chairman and all the coaches here that are to be honored. It's a privilege to be on the same platform as all of you. When I told my mother that in receiving this award I was to make a speech, she said, "Oh, Andrew, be modest." So my mother really knows me, though many of you don't. I also got the impression that I was supposed to say something very eloquent and intelligent, but instead I'm just going to say thanks. There's many people to thank. Thanks very much to Jeep Eagle for the generosity that they've shown my school on my behalf. And also to Mr. Jackson for his presentation, and also for his career and his example that certainly I can only hope to follow.
This is the Vanier Cup, Canada's University Football Championship.
Welcome back to the Vanier Cup Championship game. As you can see, our CTV Broadview stats there, 10 for 15, the St. Mary's Huskies in the passing. Honestly, you don't expect that to be the case, Russ Jackson, because the yardage is similar, everything's similar, except the fact that Calgary is really dominating this football game.
Well, they got off to a slow start, the Calgary Dinosaurs, but then late in that first quarter and early in the second quarter, 2 completions to Dave Brown set up this touchdown pass to Sean Furlong. And again, as Torrance had done in the first 2 completions to Brown, he didn't really give the defender much opportunity. He got that ball out there early to the receiver. And late in the half, we have the touchdown for the Huskies when Nealon, who's been the prime receiver for this particular St. Mary's team, has caught 7 for 76 yards. Made just a super catch over the head to get the Huskies back in.
All right, the score, Calgary 18, St. Mary's 8. This is the Vanier Cup, Canada's University Football Championship.
18-8, Calgary over St. Mary's at halftime of the Vanier Cup. We're going to have some fun now. I understand that we can go to Calgary and talk to Kathy Spruill of CFCN TV, the CTV affiliate in Calgary. She's there with about 500 Dinosaur fans. Calgary, how's it going out there?
Well, Lance, I'll tell you, it's a party here. It is hype here at the University of Calgary. As you can hear all the 500 students in the background of the Olympic Legacy Lounge. I have to admit the first quarter was a little quiet, but since the turnaround in the second quarter, enthusiasm and excitement has really picked up, as you can hear.
Were they a little concerned during the first quarter when St. Mary's jumped out to an early lead?
What's that, Lance?
Were they a little concerned in the first quarter, those 500 fans of yours, when St. Mary's jumped out to the lead?
Yeah, they were concerned, it was quite quiet down here in the Olympic Legacy Lounge, but there's about 18 dinosaurs, the rookies who couldn't make it to the Vanier Cup, and they're really intense. Of course, their spirits have picked up tremendously since the second quarter and the turnaround.
So I suppose there's no use asking you to ask them who they think are going to win this game today.
Absolutely no question in their minds. They believe that the dinosaurs are going to win the Vanier Cup for sure.
Well, Kathy, I'll let you enjoy your orange juice. I understand you're the only one drinking straight orange juice. I hope that you all enjoy the rest of the game. We'll go upstairs now to the booth. Peter Young and Russ Jackson.
Thank you, Lance, and to Kathy, and all you fans in Calgary watching, whether you're there at that particular party or just watching at your homes. We salute you for supporting the Dinosaurs all season long, as we salute the fans of Halifax who supported the SMU Huskies and who traveled here in strange outfits, Russ, to cheer in this game.
Look, they were wearing those on their way here. I'm surprised they arrived.
Jerry Foster, number 13, tees the ball up at the 45 as we get set to start the second half of play. And just as we started the first half, we start the second with the Dinosaurs running from right to left on your screen. Van Bellum with open field. Van Bellum breaks to the outside and will get up to his own 52-yard line. A 42-yard kick return by Van Bellum.
Well, a long kick by Foster. Returned upfield here, got up the middle where there was no one there from the Huskies. They seemed to break down in terms of the lanes. And Anthony Williams, number 33, pulled them down from behind, reaching out here. And Foster was the only other player left to make the tackle.
Pitch out right side. J.P. Izquierdo gets by the contain and gets outside. McKenzie makes the stop after a gain on the play of about 6, almost 7 yards. Actually, the field is held up very well as you see them clean the cleats out. Field is in pretty good shape. The final Vanier Cup game here, and we've talked about the tradition over the years, but it's going to be sad to close the doors here today.
Well, it's a great place to watch a football game. Varsity Stadium always has been noted. You're right on the sidelines. You've got a good viewpoint from wherever you sit, and it just has been an outstanding place for a lot of exciting football over the years.
Decision time for the Calgary Dinosaurs as J.P. Izquierdo is a yard short of the first down. But, well, actually the kicking team is now coming in.
Well, it's always interesting with the quarterback showing them how much there is to go. And as we know, we've already mentioned that the coach is up here in the booth doing his scouting, and he can see exactly how much there is. And he's told those assistants, we are going to punt that ball.
Well, they've got the potential of pinning St. Mary's very, very deep. In fact, McDonald and Caron are inside the end zone waiting to receive the punt. Managed with a good left-footed kick. McDonald on the run at his own 7. Nothing but red and white jerseys. As Shepard, number 29, is the first man to make contact, and St. Mary's, who drove impressively at the end of the first half, have the ball at their own 10-yard line.
Well, this is probably the worst field position that St. Mary's has started from this afternoon throughout that first half. Even with turnovers and some of the penalties, they have not been this deep in their own territory to start a drive this afternoon.
Bill Scollard, number 15, is the quarterback. And pitches out to Matzik, 31. Matzik spins his way across the 15, almost to the 16-yard line. It'll be a gain of 4.5, almost 5.
Dennis Mahoney, number 42, from the inside linebacking spot, doing a good job of getting out there. This is that pitch play they used early in the game, trying it again early in this half. Good for 5 yards.
Second down and 5. Scollard's statistics actually quite impressive. 10 of 15, as you could see. This time, Scollard himself, a little bit of a mix-up in the backfield, perhaps, and they'll be short of the first down.
Well, I think that was a mix-up. I think that ball was supposed to go to Phil Matson, number 31, but he seemed to get an early start and was well ahead of Scholar. Scholar doing a good job of not risking the fumble. He hung on to that ball, tried to carry in behind where Matson was going. Scholar just bobbles the ball a little bit here, and Matson's ahead of him. And he tries to follow into where the hole should be, but he was smothered there quickly by the Dinosaur defense.
From that angle, the hole looked like it was there, too. Scholar punting. Gets it away, a high punt. Van Bellum at center field. There's a flag on the play. That'll be for no yards as he's finally tracked down. And a face mask penalty as well. Jody Hubert makes the stop. So early in the second half with the score. Calgary 18, St. Mary's 8. We'll be back in just a moment. Well, there are two penalties on the play here. First of all, a clip called against Calgary, and then you'll see the unnecessary roughness here. Unintentional face mask. They call it. Jody Hubert, who reached in, and that made it 5 yards from the point they caught the ball, and consequently, Calgary has the first down at the 51.5.
Matthew Nealon of St. Mary's got that touchdown pass late in the first half. What was said in the dressing room at halftime?
Just to keep in the game, the defense has got to... They scored one touchdown on us on a turnover, so right now the score could easily be tied. And we just got to stay in the game, and the defense has got to keep their offense off the field and our offense on.
Okay, good luck. Thanks for that.
Kazan, number 92, on the reception for the first down for Calgary, as Torrance was rifled on the safety blitz by Richardson just as he released the football.
That's great on behalf of Torrance getting that ball out there to Kazan, because Barry Richardson, number 27, had come in on a blitz to try and contain on that rollout, and he left Kazan all alone in the flat, and Torrance got the ball to him. When you bring that inside safety, you're taking that gamble. You're going to get to the quarterback before he can get the ball to the receiver.
First down, Calgary, at the 34-yard line of St. Mary's, over the middle, complete to Esquerdo, and that is close to another first down. Rob Brennan, number 45, makes the stop.
Well, Esquerdo lining up as the halfback in that I formation, just comes out of the backfield and does a little loop into the middle here. No one to block. Gets inside number 45, Rob Brennan. The ball's delivered there, and he's close to that first down.
Former CFL star Ken Clark helping out with the isolation today. And he was telling us before the game, we were asking him about a situation similar to this where somebody else had to come in at quarterback, and he said his first year with the LA Rams in the NFL that Pat Hayden had the misfortune of getting injured one day, and all of a sudden a nobody by the name of Vince Ferragamo took over, and Hayden never got the ball back.
Peter Cadellan, who was up in the booth in that first half now, I guess he feels he has all the information he wants about what they're doing offensively, the Huskies, and what he would like to do defensively, and now he's down there with his Calgary toucan on the bench.
I was going to continue with that story and point out that Bill Scholar will be very happy, I think, to give the ball back to Chris Flint.
I think so.
At some point.
Yes.
But he's the man of the hour today as far as SMU is concerned. As Peter Canelo looks on and watches Bob Torrance on second down and inches with the play action fake, has his man open, Furlong in the end zone, over his head. On second down and inches, you can take the gamble, and that's what he did.
Well, a great fake in here, too. Torrance got the ball into the belly. It was really well done. And watch the back. Esquerdo carry out that fake. There it is. Number 43 all of a sudden realizes it's a fake, but he's not in this play. But again, Furlong open there, and as Torrance started out that first half, he couldn't quite find the receivers. And again, having a man open in the end zone, but with third and short yardage, they're going to go for it.
Well, that little Fido had a dinosaur taped to him, but he didn't remind me of a husky, I'll tell you that. I mean, they're not the SMU Spaniels.
Not today or not this year. Now, going on third down, they did get the first down, and again, good play calling. Play action pass, second and short yardage, knowing you can get on third down.
So, the Dinosaurs on the march at the SMU 22.5-yard line. 10 minutes, 38 seconds remaining. Third quarter. A 10-point lead for Calgary. Esquerdo right side. And Paul Tynett, number 51, got the first hand on him. Esquerdo will now run his total to 62 yards rushing. The injured SMU player is Gus Karazakis, the outstanding middle linebacker. So with the score, Calgary 18 and St. Mary's 8. We'll be back in just a moment. 18-8 to score as Gus Karazakis comes off the field under his own power.
Some of the Calgary cheerleaders trying to help their offense along here as we see Gus coming on.
He's an important cog as well. I mean, they got to get him back in if he possibly can make it. 65, Brian Johnson replaces him in the middle. Torrance, straight drop, all kinds of time. Over the middle, deflected as the intended receiver, Tim Carbonic, was triple covered.
Wow, that was great coverage. That wasn't thrown into double coverage. That was throwing it right into the heart of the defense as Carbonic came over the middle. Torrance had good time, got good protection, had a chance to look both ways and fired over the middle. But there were a lot of maroon shirts there when that ball arrived.
Brian DeMug will come in to attempt the field goal. Brown puts the tee down at about the 27-yard line. Kick is good. So the Dinosaurs increase their lead to 13 points. 21-8.
Well, let's say Mary's Huskies staying within that 2 converted touchdowns in terms of the score with it 21-8, and they will start the ball on the 35-yard line. I'm sure Billy Robinson and Larry Utek would like to see this offense move the ball as they did late in that first half.
First down at the 35. Scollard looking right, throws out to Williams. And that'll be a short yard situation. 5 on the play. Second down and 5. Lights on here at Varsity Stadium. Getting dark already in Toronto. Completes it outside to McDonald, and that will be the first down.
Just a short note here, guys. Gus Karazakis, the St. Mary's linebacker, was helped off the field just a moment ago. It's a bumped shoulder, nothing serious. He'll be right back in.
That's good news for the St. Mary's defensive unit because he's the team leader on defense. McDonald's first reception of the afternoon. Significant fact because he's their big receiver.
Well, he's the guy that like to get too deep, and they seem to throw those inside guys, Nealon and Smith, a lot on those short out patterns that they just threw to McDonald that time.
Fakes once, the pump fake to Smith, and he just has it go off the end of his fingertips. Actually, pretty well thrown ball.
Peter, you have to be impressed with Scollard. You know he hasn't played much quarterback at all. He got that ball out there over top of number 21, Dunko, almost for the great pass reception here. But you have to be impressed with 2 short passes, set that up with the out, and then the out and down on the same guy with a different receiver. But it's very effective, and he's thrown the ball really well.
Well, it's his first incompletion out of 8 passes as he lines Smith and McDonald, his 2 favorite receivers, far to the right. But he's been coming back the other way. Now shotgun, and he'll look left and run right into the defensive tackle, make that linebacker, Ian James, number 65. And maybe a little bit of an experience showing there. As instead of stepping up into the pocket, he looped to the outside and was caught.
I think you're exactly right, Peter. He did look to the outside instead of stepping up. Number 65, Ian James, got good outside contain rush here. And as he saw him coming, he might have been able to step up as we see all his friends up in that pocket area. We'll see it better from here. If he steps up in the middle, James can be pushed out to the outside, but he stepped around and didn't give the offensive lineman much chance to block James at all.
Scollard gets the big rush put on him and gets an unbelievable punt. Van Bellum at his 30, tries to get outside. And Williams, number 33, fumble! And St. Mary's has the football. The two backup running backs, Anthony Williams and John Murray, combined here. Williams brings him down, and Murray will get the football.
Well, Van Bellingham got to the outside, but Williams pulled him down, and just as he was going down, he seemed to lose contact with the ball. And as you say, the other backup running back was right there to foul on it. And here's a great turnover, great situation for St. Mary's.
The official there is looking inside the field and doesn't see that his foot is actually out of bounds. Over the middle for Smith, touchdown! But a flag on the play, and it's in the backfield area where holding is usually called. Holding call against St. Mary's. The touchdown is negated. Couldn't hear the number, but it's definitely an offensive holding call that wipes out 6 points.
Well, the flag was thrown right away before that ball was thrown in the holding call. But number 73, Brian Smith, just ran a seam pattern down there, find that open area just inside Dave Heaton, and Heaton got there a little late in order to knock the ball down. He'd already scored before he dropped in the end zone, but the holding call brings it back.
Second down and 20 now. Quick pass right side. This time it's Nealon, and Nealon will gain 16 yards as he carries 4 men across the 30-yard line. We give him 18 yards on the play.
Peter, I'm more and more impressed with this kid Nealon. We saw him last week. We weren't looking at him being one of the big receivers. He ran that slant in again. Scholar got it to him a little low, but he made the catch. But you have to be impressed with this. 3 guys right in his back. He got an extra 4 or 5 yards to put them within 2 of that first down on a 1st and 20 situation.
The Huskies driving now inside the 30 of Calgary. Second down and a big first down needed. Scholar wants to go to the air again. This time has time again and throws, and an interference call as McDonald was trying to come back for the ball, and he was held up on the play. Marcoux, number 12, is called for pulling him back a little bit. Now, in the Canadian College game, that is not a first down at the point of the infraction, but it becomes a first down and a 10-yard penalty.
Pass interference, causing number 12.
Devin Marcoux, the man charged in this play for that move right there.
Well, the ball underthrown, and McDonald trying to come back for it, and as he came back, the defensive player realizing he couldn't get back there, pulled him down, and a good call by the official. And as you say, this will give the Huskies just a great scoring opportunity as the ball is moved into about the 12-yard line. But Scholar just seems to me now to be able to get that confidence now. He's getting more and more. I'm sure that drive and that touchdown late in that first half has picked him up. Even though he had good completion record, it's getting the completions when you need them.
First down at the 12-yard line. Pitch out. Williams cuts back inside. And he gets to the 10 and maybe down to the 9. James and Mahoney make the stop. And that'll be a gain of 3 yards. Second down and 7.
A little tentative running in there with that sweep. You got to, once you pick your spots, you got to get those shoulders squared upfield and head for that goal area, especially when you're down there in the 12-yard line.
Tony Williams, just a freshman from Dartmouth, replacing the veteran Bill Matzett, who has the bad ankle. Scholar wants to throw. To Nealon, touchdown. Matt Nealon reaches behind to make the reception. I think we'll see, Russ, that a safety blitz on that play left that area open, and Nealon found it.
but made a great catch adjusting behind the ball.
That's two great catches for him for touchdowns. He came to the inside. He had the goalpost to worry about. He's very close to the goalpost here, and he reached back and pulled that ball in, and that's two great catches. But the goalpost was there. We talked about those double standards, and he had to worry about that while he was reaching back.
Jerry Foster with the extra point as Bill Scollard, trying to pull off the success story of the year in Canadian college football, puts it into the end zone.
Well, and two great catches as he gets this one in there, and we'll be back at the Vanier Cup with the score 21-15 in favor of the Dinosaurs.
5 minutes and 9 seconds remaining, third quarter. Jerry Foster kicks deep to Van Bellum. Number 33 has the ball at his 20 and tries to get outside. Van Bellum turns the corner, but a flag goes down. And the penalty is going to be called against number 39, Dave Brown, who had the misfortune of doing nothing more than laying his hand on the back of one of the SMU players. But that is called a clip, and that'll bring it back.
Holding number 39, yes.
There's that scoring drive. 36 yards after the turnover, the recovery by John Murray. 4 plays and a 9-yard pass to Matt Nealon.
And the other thing that the Huskies do by scoring that way, they give a lift to this defensive team of theirs. They go out there now, they know they've got an offense that can put the ball in the end zone, and they don't have that feeling we have to do it all ourselves.
Big drive for the Dinosaurs because the momentum has switched. And Bob Torrance will now be trying to snuff out that hope that SMU now has. Hand off to Esquerdo. Right side, now cuts back in. And Esquerdo finds very little running room. A gain on the play of 3.5, almost 4.
Matthew, who scored the touchdown, we talked to you just a moment ago. I guess we're good luck for you, are we?
Yeah, I guess you are. Hope you come around again.
What was the play?
It was a quick post, and the defender was lining on the inside, and I didn't think I was going to get it, but it was a perfect throw, and I got the touchdown.
A lot of guys on this bench are getting a very warm feeling right now. You can feel something coming, can't you?
Yeah, we feel like we're back in the game. Everybody's all hyped up, and they're ready to play now.
All right, nice catch. Good game so far.
Thank you very much.
And they are back in the game, but Bob Torrance now drops straight back for Calgary. Now running out of time. Throws over the middle to Furlong, wide open. Furlong finally brought down at the 47.5, 48-yard line. Walcott makes the stop finally, but Torrance had all kinds of time to wait for the receiver to break open.
This is one of those completions that you give it to the offensive line because Torrance had time to look every which way. The defensive backs had everybody covered, but by the time he had with the offensive line block, and he found Furlong over the middle finally for the big game.
First down at the 48 for Calgary. Pitch out to Esquerdo, right side. And Craig Kerwin, number 66, is waiting for him. Rob Brennan, number 45, the outside linebacker, also in on the stop. Gain of 1 yard on the play, second down and 9.
Gus Karazakis, who went out of the game a little earlier, number 43, back in at middle linebacker.
21-15 the score. Calgary on top. Here comes the blitz. They pick it up, fire outside and over the head of Esquerdo. And a kicking situation now for the Dinosaurs.
Again, the Husky defense, sensing that rollout, brings that middle linebacker in the tackle spot where he is rolling to, and he's forcing him to throw that ball early, and they have not had a lot of success with Torrance rolling out and trying to get that ball in the flat area.
SMU has not put a great pass rush on in this game. Let's see if they try to go for it this time. Brent Matich drops back to punt at his own 35. High snap, brings it down. The kick is not as good as he's been getting off all day. It bounces to Caron. Caron on the fly, but a great tackle by number 43, Crowshoe. Just as it looked like Caron was going to get some outside running room.
We're here with Bob Corin, the athletic director at the University of Calgary. How are your nerves?
Well, I think it makes for a better game for television, but we're getting a little concerned right now. St. Mary's are playing very, very well.
Were you concerned before this game started that the team might let down a little because of the loss of Chris Flynn on the other side?
Well, I think our kids' attitude was that they were really disappointed themselves because we wanted to go against the best that St. Mary's could throw at us.
As it was said before, the offense may be hurting over there, but their defense is playing well, particularly now.
Well, they've played very, very well, and I think a lot of people don't realize that really their defense had as much in getting them here as their offense did.
I think we've got a big play. We better let it go. Thanks.
Well, as you could see during that interview, a big turnover for the Calgary Dinosaurs as Scollard was contained, Russ, and I don't know if it should have been blown dead for being in the grass.
Well, it's hard to say whether they should or shouldn't. He was trying to get the outside, but Cole Nelson, number 45, did a great job of containing him. The ball got loose from Scollard, and then number 65, Ian James, who made that big sack earlier, jumped on the ball. It's amazing how momentum can shift, but a play like this can really hurt you when you're down in your own end. You don't mind turning that ball over when you're up at midfield on your way in to score. You don't want to turn it over any time, but down here it can really hurt in a close game like this.
And that is a group of the graduates from the Calgary win 5 years ago today in the Vanier Cup, showing off their Vanier Cup rings and their school spirit now.
Is this what we can look forward to 5 years from now for some of these Dinosaurs playing today?
Well, that could be the very biggest play of this football game. Big turnover just when it looked like St. Mary's had taken the momentum away from the Dinosaurs. They now have a first down at the SMU 15-yard line. That is outstanding linebacker Ian James that was shaken up on that play. 6'1", 230 pounds in his 5th year and a second-team CIAU All-Star this year. Torrance rolls right, wants to come back the other way, throws it up deep for Furlong. He has the ball for the touchdown, an acrobatic diving catch. Great effort, as you'll see here, Russ.
Well, we talked about him not having success rolling out. This time he started to the right. They had the containment, as you can see. He pulled up short and threw it back to the backside. And Furlong, just an outstanding catch as he caught the ball. He was hit head on. He then reached back and just hung on to that ball. How he ever did that, I don't know. But you can show that one over and over again, but you'll never teach kids how to do it.
He had the presence of mind to realize the ball could have hit the ground and been ruled ineligible or an ineligible catch. And he managed to keep his wits about him, as it were, and keep his hands underneath the ball.
But just a terrific hit he took as he was catching the ball, and to be able to turn around and still concentrate on where that ball was in the air. St. Mary's player down. He looks like he's out cold, and he's one of the players who was involved in that collision.
Kevin Reed,
in the end zone.
Good
Here
hit.
we have throwing it back, and again he's throwing it back against the grain. Barter putting a lot of pressure on him, but there's the hit right there from Kevin Reed. He's the one that's out.
Well, you can describe the touchdown for us.
Well, what happened is the guy was playing bump and trail on me, and I just converted and took it deep and just went out for the ball. Maybe a lucky catch, I guess.
How important was it to get one back after they'd come down?
Oh, really important. We had to change the momentum right now. Things were going their way. We really had to turn it around.
All right, the last time I didn't give you a chance to say hi to your mom and dad back in Calgary, so go ahead.
Hi, Mom, Dad, Miles.
Good game so far, Sean. Thanks.
Kevin Reed, the injured SMU player, is now up and coming off under his own power. He's had a great afternoon going both ways for the Huskies. And Sean Furlong described it as a bit lucky. I don't know. I thought it was a great catch.
Great concentration.
27-15. DeMutt will try to make it 28-15. And with 2:10 remaining in this third quarter, the Dinosaurs' lead is back to 13. So a break either way. The turnover on the fumble by Calgary gave SMU the chance to go in and score, and now the turnover by Scollard is the Dinos. 7 points right back. Nobody will say that the Dinosaur fans are not having fun in Toronto.
If you come that far, you should come to have a little bit of fun. It's been a great week here, Vanier Cup week in Toronto, and the Junior Board of Trade always doing their outstanding job at making all the visitors feel welcome and enjoy themselves.
I was talking to Larry Utek the other day about the fun that his players were having. He said the first night here he didn't even put a curfew on because he said a lot of his players had never been to Toronto, and he said a lot of them had never been on an airplane, so he said he wanted to let them have some fun the first day.
It's got to be a little scary when you're bringing a team in that maybe has never been in this big city, and also getting on that plane for the first time. There might have been a few butterflies.
Mugg with the kick. McDonald on the fly. Tries to cut back to the middle, and he's leveled on the play by Dunkel, number 21. They've actually been very, very good in their kick coverage, and Dunkel, in particular, seems to always be around the football.
Well, they're always kicking that ball off to a certain area. You can tell when they line up on the kickoff, they put so many men on one side of the field, and they're actually trying to kick it to that area where they can cover it. And Dunkel is always one of those guys on that strong side where the ball is going.
First down at the 35-yard line. Schollard will now try to atone for the fumble that cost him 6 points. Lines up, throws right, flag down, though. That's McDonald, and he again may have been offside. It is. And that's your veteran receiver, and I think that's the second, maybe the third time he's been called.
That's the third time, and there's really no excuse. We'll listen to the referee tell us here. Referee Bob Scott telling us it definitely was Ian McDonald again, and there's really no excuse when you're a wide receiver, you're watching the ball, and to jump offside. And you have to wonder if maybe there's a cadence difference with the new quarterback, Bill Schollard, as opposed to what Chris Flynn would be doing for him all year.
For the inside guys, maybe, Russ, but don't the wide guys watch the ball?
Well, I'm trying to help him as to why he's got 3 of them.
I mean, he's 35 yards from the quarterback. When the ball snaps, then you run. Schollard wants to go that way again and will. Overthrowing and almost tipped it to the hands of Brian Smith. Van Bellum was in the coverage area.
Well, that's the first pass that's really got away from Schollard when he's laid it out there. He tried to get out there, again, as you said, to Ian McDonald, and it was tipped, and Smith almost came back and got it. But Schollard has been on the money most of the afternoon, and that one floated, and it could have been picked up.
Devin Marcoux got his hand on the ball, but almost deflected it right into the hands of Brian Smith. Second down and 15. Quick out to Smith, and it went right through his hands. I think even Smith was a little bit shocked at how quickly the ball got there, and it went right through his fingertips. A minute left in the third quarter, and a punt situation for the SMU Huskies.
That ball was thrown in a hurry out there to Smith. He hadn't really turned around and didn't have much chance of catching it.
Well, each team has capitalized on turnovers here in this third quarter, and SMU will have the wind at their back in a minute. Trailing by 13. Punt bounces. Flag on the play as Dunkel picks it up, and one of the offensive linemen for SMU was inadvertently within the 5-yard restraining zone, not realizing that the ball bounced the wrong way.
Well, Dunkel, number 21, has been there doing a lot of things this afternoon. They're all little things, but when you add them up over a 60-minute game, you start to say, hey, number 21 for the Dinosaurs had himself a pretty good afternoon.
And I'm sure he has to be one of the people that will be considered as for the Defensive Player of the Game award. They wiped out that penalty, Russ, and I think that's a great call by the officials. When the ball bounces back like that, they have the option of throwing the flag first, then explaining to the head official that it was inadvertent that he was in that 5-yard.
As long as the player that's in that area doesn't make the tackle and stop the person, they can do that and make that call in a situation such as that.
Isn't this something? The numbers for the quarterbacks actually favor Schollard, but it's Torrance directing this attack who's put the bigger points on the board as he hands off to Zimmerman. And he's across center field all the way down to the 51-yard line of St. Mary's.
Well, that's that same play he broke for about 35 yards in the second quarter. And again, he got through that initial line of scrimmage. And if he didn't get tripped up by one of the linebackers, he had a lot of open field ahead of him.
2nd down and 4. Torrance, handoff, backside to J.P. Izquierdo. And he's brought down by Walcott at the 44-yard line. 1st down. They just have more weapons, Russ. It's just as simple as that.
Yeah, a little misdirection there with Izquierdo carrying the ball. And at the end of the 3rd quarter with the score, 28-15 in favor of the Dinosaurs. We'll be back. Start the 4th quarter.
The campus of the University of Toronto. The Vanier Cup at Varsity Stadium. The final Vanier Cup to be played outdoors here at traditional Varsity. Zimmerman inside, and he gets down to the 38-yard line of SMU. Barry Richardson, number 27, comes up from his defensive halfback spot to make the tackle. There's the 3-quarter stats, and now Calgary starting to pull well ahead in the statistical columns. 306 total yards, 284 net to 163, and they just announced the attendance here as 13,000, which I think is a great crowd for a college football game here in this country.
Oh, that's terrific, and knowing you don't have an Ontario team or somebody from this area, it's a credit to the people who put this game on and have made it into the spectacle it really is today.
Pass was intended for Carbonic, incomplete, and you have to wonder next year, Russ, it'll be inside the Dome Stadium. It'll be an attraction in itself. And a game priced at the price of the Vanier Cup will be an attraction for families to bring their youngsters who may never get a chance to get inside the Dome all year, so we could have an outstanding crowd next year.
And it'll be the first actual championship game probably played there. In football anyway.
Well, unless the Blue Jays happen to go
with the Blue Jays. I was just thinking about that. We won't write them off yet.
No. But you're right, it could be the very first football championship. In fact, it definitely will be the very first football championship.
Could be quite a week with the Vanier Cup one week and the Grey Cup the following week. Some of those CFL fans could come in a little early and see quite a college game as well as seeing the Grey Cup game.
I don't know if I'm just imagining things, Russ, but it just appears to me that over the past couple of years there's been a greater renewed interest in college football in this country. And I think the outcome here today proves that it's a great game.
Well, I've had the opportunity with working with Chief Eagle a little bit to travel the country just before the season starts from coast to coast and talking some of the college towns. And it's just amazing the enthusiasm that is within those towns. And I think more people, other than just the students themselves, are going to college football games now because they realize it's real good entertainment.
46-yard attempt for DeMug. Kick is up. Hits the crossbar and bounces off. Now, did it go through? Yes. It appeared to me that it bounced and went over, but the official who was standing right underneath it couldn't tell.
Well, I wasn't sure what the official was doing there because there's really no way it could go outside, I don't think, once it hits that crossbar, because the crossbar does not extend outside the upright. It hit the crossbar, and it had to go through, but he certainly was taking a second look there.
Well, you can see from the position he has, he can't tell, but the other official does.
That's right. It's in there for sure. But that's a big 3 points. That puts him up at more than 2 converted touchdowns, and you've got to start looking at 2-point conversions if you score now.
46-yarder into the wind. Scholar gets nailed as he unloads to McDonald. Flag on the play, and McDonald will have the reception, and in this case, that's a big penalty because it would have only been 10 yards. Now, Scholar is down in the offensive backfield, and he is injured.
Well, we've got a lot of flags down here. We're going to have to get this one straightened out because Scholar was hit very hard where the first penalty was called, and then downfield after the reception was made, there might have been a face mask called down there as McDonald was trying to break away from the defender.
McDonald lined up offside again.
Well, all the rest of it doesn't mean a thing then.
Procedure, ain't all say nothing. Pass interference. 15, Calgary.
Ian McDonald, the veteran receiver, for the 4th time today, is called.
Well, like number 15 Schollard here, as he takes 2 of them on here, but not only the hit, it's when you get written into the ground like that with the big defender on top of you, square on top of you, it does tend to hurt.
Well, there will be a difference here because of the seriousness of the interference infraction overriding the lining up offside infraction, and therefore it will be a pickup on the play for SMU, and they have the ball at the 45 and a first down.
A 10-yard penalty for that pass interference, moving them 10 yards up from the 35.
And as I look right now, McDonald is lining up offside again. His foot was over the line. They didn't call it this time. Into the middle area, and Matzik limped out there trying to catch the ball. There's a case of just an injured ball player in there, and you certainly can't fault him.
Well, he had no acceleration as the ball was thrown over the middle. Scholar tried to get into the open area just over the linebackers, but Matzik didn't have the acceleration with that bad ankle to get to the ball.
2nd down and 10.
Well, a concerned Billy Robinson and Larry Utek on the St. Mary's bench right now.
I think they have to be proud of the effort that Bill Schollard has put in today. Matt Nealon, who's had the big day receiving, has this catch for the first down.
Peter, you start to think of outstanding ball players in this game, and very seldom do they give it to a player from a team that is losing. And I'm not saying now that St. Mary's has lost, but you mentioned how well Schollard has played with such little work at the quarterback spot, and he has been one of the stars in this ballgame.
Ball is at the 54-yard line and keeps bouncing around. Constant Nicolopoulos, the offensive center, went down to pick it up, and the wind took it just as he bent down.
It's like those funny ones where they have a string attached to it and pull away from you as you go to reach for it.
Now St. Mary's wants to call a timeout. Ian McDonald calls it from his wide receiver position. And that will bring McDonald and Schollard to the sideline. Yeah, you really have to consider him as the outstanding player right now in this football game. Without him, you'd hate to think what the score would be.
Well, I think not only the way he has played, which has been significant in itself, it's the fact that he's been put into probably the most difficult position a football player can be put into. Not only to play a position you haven't played before, but replacing the most outstanding football player in CIAU football this year.
But you have to also look at Furlong and Brown, the 2 great receivers for Calgary, who've turned in yeoman's duty today.
That's right.
Well, they bring in an extra defensive back. Calgary does now, taking advantage of this timeout themselves. Ron Tratch, number 7, comes into the ball game, and they'll go with 6 DBs. Tratch is getting all kinds of help from his teammates there right now, trying to explain to him what all he has to do. All in one play.
Just don't get beat.
You have to think that Nealon will be the man he goes to. Looks this way, though, now. Fires out deep. Way over the head of McDonald. McDonald ran a stop and go, and Schollard threw it as if he thought it was a fly pattern.
That's exactly right, Peter. He did hesitate there, trying to get that defensive back to slow down, but Schollard had laid it out well ahead of him.
And you can see them talking about that miscommunication. I asked Bill Schollard yesterday if there was some advantage to him, since he had also played receiver. We'll get back to his response on that in just a few moments. There's a problem on the field with the communication system. With the score, Calgary 31, St. Mary's 15. We'll be back in just a moment.
The story with the communication systems on both benches is this: Calgary's in the press box aren't working. So a rule in the CIAU prohibits use of headsets if one sides are not working. Therefore, both will go without headsets until repairs are made.
That seems fair. If that's the case, though, why is he still talking into it? Second down and 10 for St. Mary's after the delay.
Gentlemen, the headsets are back, we understand.
That was good.
That gave St. Mary's a very long timeout to discuss what to do on second down from the shotgun formation. Schollard, quick pass. Smith gets one hand on it and makes the catch. Short of the first down, however.
I watched Smith go downfield in the warm-up, and he was catching the ball with one hand. I don't really think he was practicing for this, but he just reached out with the left hand, pulled that in, and I don't think he ever did get the right hand on it until he hit the ground.
Just tucked it right to the chest and landed on the football.
Now we have a 3rd and 1 situation, real critical situation for St. Mary's to make sure they keep this drive alive.
With 12 minutes remaining here in this 4th quarter, first down mandatory here. Schollard leaps himself and has it. They score here again. We're back into the game.
Good surge by the center and the 2 offensive guards to easily allow Schollard to get that first down.
That's what St. Mary's is thinking. We have to score. Calgary, of course, naturally, with that big defense, hoping to keep wearing them down, They know the clock's working in their favor.
Well, you've got to look at 2-point conversions if they do score as well with 16-point difference.
It is beginning to rain lightly here.
Well, Lance, we're happy to hear that since you're standing on the sidelines and we're gloating about how warm it was earlier.
Yeah, thanks, Rice.
Schollard on first down. Fires deep. Intended for McDonald and over his head. McDonald really had a step on the defender, but it would have had to have been a perfect pass.
Again, these quarterbacks are not afraid to throw that ball out there. Well thrown ball by Schollard. Just led McDonald that little bit. And there seems to be, in the long passing game with Schollard, just that little bit of miscommunication of getting that ball up there so that the receivers can get underneath it. But certainly anything from 5 to 20 yards, he's been just outstanding today.
Second down and 10. You can bet that they'll use all 3 downs every time now to make the 10 yards, or to try to make the 10. From the shotgun, Schollard sprints left, throws on the run, catch made by McDonald, and that'll be a first down. Devin Marsuk on the stop.
Well, one of the few times that either quarterback has been able to get outside on rollout action. Schollard rolling left from that shotgun formation, throwing on the run to the left quite well, with McDonald making the good catch for the first down. But both teams defensively have done a good job of containing the quarterback on rollout situations.
That's the first time that he's really sprinted out of the pocket and found some room. He'll stay in the shotgun. And again has time. And again throws for McDonald. McDonald makes the catch and falls almost into the end zone. Down at the 3-yard line. Make that the 2. He was trying to backpedal in, Russ, but just ran out of space.
Well, again, he threw that ball out there with number 80, and I'd like to watch what he did to the defensive back just as he went for that ball. It seemed like he put his hand on number 15, Hildebrand's back. But as he turns around here now, there it is there, just a little push-off, and he got away with it. Now he's trying to sort of dance backwards into the end zone, but he did get away with a little push-off off Hildebrand.
Now, what will Schollard do? He doesn't have the benefit of healthy running backs. Matzik is back in there. Matzik has the ball, puts his head down, and goes to the 1.
Well, I think you can look at Schollard trying to carry it in himself from the 1 now. He's probably the healthiest one back there. Number 31, Matzik, just doesn't have that acceleration. And on turf like this, he's used to playing on that natural, or I should say artificial surface. You don't dig in quite as well, and you've got to have that acceleration. So
that's one thing we didn't point out. With the loss of Flynn, you also lose your best running back.
Right,
because of his scrambling ability. Matzik comes out. He's got the bad wheel. Williams goes in. Schollard with the long count. Handoff. Second man through is Williams. Touchdown. Tony Williams, the freshman from Dartmouth. In for the touchdown. And now they'll try for the 2-point conversion. Scollard simply stays out on the field.
Well, Williams coming out of the eye with Hubert in front of him. Again, doesn't run in there with great acceleration. He tried to leap over, got caught in midair by Dunkel again, that number 21, who's been all around the ball this afternoon. Just managed to break the plane of the goal line.
All right, big play now. Second down, or make that the touchdown brought it to 21 points. Now they'll try for the 2-point conversion. Over the middle, and there it is. Kevin Reed, number 79, has the 2-point conversion. So the 8-point play brings them to within 8.
Well, both inside receivers were wide open as they came in here for the 2-point conversion. You had Smith on the other side, Reed on this side, and now with the score 31-23, 8-point difference. We'll be back in a moment.
The Vanier Cup will be awarded to one of these two teams, and the St. Mary's Huskies are making a run in the 4th quarter. They pulled it within 8 points of the Calgary Dinosaurs and kicked the ball off with the wind deep to Van Bellem at the 5 to 10. Van Bellem trying to get outside, and he's brought down by Tony Williams with some help from foreign number 60. It'll be first down Calgary at their 26.
Well, expecting him to go in quarterback sneak, he gave the ball to number 33, the rookie Williams, and even though he isn't running with great power, did manage to get in there. But then the 2-point conversion, you can see number 90, 73 on the other side, on the right side. He's wide open, Reed's wide open, and the goalposts, I think they maybe thought they were wearing white-red uniforms and were the defensive backs.
The only two people in the middle were Smith and Reed, along with the two blue goalposts. Have to think about that play again if they score again. And the St. Mary's defense converges on J.P. Izquierdo.
With Anthony Williams, who scored that last touchdown, Anthony, this team is coming back. They won't quit.
The guys are just psyched up. We just want to go and get it. It's our game. It's our game.
Are you doing it for the new quarterback or the one that was injured?
We're doing it for everybody, the whole team. The whole team. It's all teamwork.
Well, it's working well.
Yeah,
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Tony Williams, the freshman, he's got a lot of good years of playing for SMU ahead of him. And the crowd is fired up. The SMU section exhorting their defense to come up big against Bob Torrance in the Calgary offense. Torrance rolls left. Continues to roll. Now he's on the run. Torrance cuts back to the middle. He'll be short of the first down. Scott Dunthorne and Gus Karazakis both there to make the stop. Gain on the play of 5 yards. It'll be 3rd and 5, and SMU will get the football.
Wow, good linebacker play on both Dunthorne and Karazakis' part. They were out there in the pass coverage, and they waited until the quarterback, Bob Torrance, got over the line of scrimmage, then came up, and Dunthorne made a good open field tackle.
The momentum slightly leaning back towards SMU. It's been a roller coaster ride today.
Well, this Vanier Cup over the years, other than last year, has just been a terrific close football game, and we've got another one this afternoon.
Brett Maddich will be kicking into the wind. No pressure. A line drive. Karen cuts the other way when he had room this way and almost breaks it to the middle. Tackle on the play there by DeSantis, number 40. And SMU has great field position at their own 52-yard line. 8 minutes left in the ball game, and the Huskies 8 points away from tying this one up. The rain continues to come down. Very light rain at this point.
The crowd is not leaving.
No, this is a heck of a football game. From regular formation. Pitch out. Reverse. Now McDonald's got it. He better get rid of it. Good block. Now he throws to Smith. He's got it. No, it's incomplete. They rule it hit the ground. They should be happy to take that as not a loss on the play. Heaton's there to strip the ball loose.
Well, I'm surprised that McDonald ever got the ball on that reverse play, but the other fact that you have to look at is that They got the ball downfield, and no linemen were called for being downfield, because usually on a scramble like this, which the linemen think is a running play, you got everybody downfield blocking, and there's usually a big penalty.
Ended up going 35 yards with that pass.
Threw that ball pretty well. They may have a third-string quarterback out there.
Over the middle. Pass completed to Hubert, the blocking back, and Hubert will have the first down. He only caught one last week in the Atlantic Bowl, and we almost made light of his receiving abilities, Russ, but this is a big one.
Well, the previous week against Acadia, 2 weeks ago, he made one great catch against, and he considered himself a pass receiver. And last week, he bobbled a little bit. This time, he just tucked it right in and got that first down. But, you know, those big blocking backs at 230, they're not paid too much money to catch that ball. They've got jobs to do to block for those quarterbacks and halfbacks.
And they love to get their hands on it every once in a while.
Oh, do they ever? Yeah.
Usually they turn and look for the first guy to run in. At the 45, Schollard, straight front, throws, intercepted! And lots of ground ahead for Heaton as he gets to the 35, the 30, cuts back inside, still on his feet. Heaton at the 5, he'll go in, touchdown!
Well,
76 yards, Russ.
Sorry, Peter. They've thrown that slant in quite often and been very successful. This time, Heaton, the free safety, moved in front of the slant in, just made a super interception with one hand, but it's that same slant in they've thrown 2 or 3 times, been very successful. He was almost stopped twice on this return by St. Mary's player. Schollard had the first shot at him. He got back inside Schollard, and then just about the 10-yard line, he was grabbed again, but he wasn't going to be denied once he got that close to the goal line.
Great individual run by Dave Heaton, only his second interception of the season. Ducks under the tackle there, keeps his feet, has the presence of mind to wait for some people to catch up to him, and goes all the way 76 yards. So now the score, Calgary 38, St. Mary's 23. We'll be back in just a moment. Well, a new record set there by Dave Heaton. 75 yards officially on the return, breaking a record set by the University of Alberta Golden Bears back in 1965 of 74 yards. Remember who brought that one back, Russ?
I have no idea. I don't think I was around then. Who was it?
It just says Alberta in the statistic book.
Okay.
McDonald, number 80, trying to find the seam up the middle and gets to the 40-yard line.
Dave Heaton, the safety that scored that touchdown just a moment ago, was absolutely exhausted. He was so exhausted we tried to get him to the sidelines to talk to us after his teammates mobbed him. We couldn't because he couldn't talk to us. He was tired.
Well, he's also now back out on the field, Lance. They needed him on the field right now, so maybe he'll come back in a while.
Tight to him. He's not there anymore.
First down from the 40. Pump fake, and then throws intended for Smith. Couldn't get his hands on it.
Well, that's always one of the tough things for a quarterback to do at any time, but late in a ball game of this significance, when you do throw that interception and you know you have to come right back on the field after the kickoff and still continue to throw the ball, because that's the only way you're going to get back in the ball game.
Five minutes, 41 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter. Bill Schollard has made it exciting, but he hasn't been able to pull the Houdini trick. Nealon makes the big catch at center field. 15-yard gain in the play. Nealon has actually been very, very effective today.
Well, great touch on that ball as he just had to lay it out over the linebackers, because Smith and Nealon had that good height, 6'2", 6'3". They just reach up and pick those out of the air. But that's a touch on that ball, because you can't lay it out there real hard because you got to throw it over top the linebacker.
Bill Schollard in his one-shot
try at quarterback has performed admirably. This time he just tries to throw it up for Nealon, and Nealon has it go off his fingertips. He might have been out of bounds when it came down anyway.
Well, Scholar a little upset with himself, and he doesn't have to be that way. He's, we say, we maybe keep repeating ourselves, but he has had that kind of a game for somebody who's had to do such a job this week. But that ball seemed to float on him again and was out of bounds, even if Nealon had been able to hang on to it.
Second down from center field. From the shotgun, Scholar over the middle, complete to Smith. And Smith has the first down at the 44-yard line. Van Bellum, number 33, into the stop. Van Bellum, second All-Star in the CIAU this year, second team All-Star from Kenora, Ontario.
There, UTEC not signaling illegal procedure there. He's just trying to hurry them along and keep that offense rolling because time is a factor.
Well, big difference too, Russ. If Flynn's in there, he can call it from the line of scrimmage. He has that command of the offense. Going for the position pattern again to McDonald, and it's picked off. Intercepted on the play by Mike Hildebrand. Perfect coverage by Hildebrand on McDonald.
Now you got to try and get that ball downfield, and this time Scholar laid out there. It's a fine ball, thrown well, a very tight spiral. But number 15, Mike Hildebrand, had that inside position, and no matter what the defender, which really turns out to be the offensive receiver, tries to do now, number 80, McDonald, he can't keep from making the interception.
And all the young football players in Brooks, Alberta will be celebrating the interception by Mike Hildebrand. They'll just keep grinding it out now. Zimmerman carrying the ball as they want the clock to keep moving.
Okay, Dave Heaton, who scored the touchdown just moments ago. First of all, have you caught your breath?
Not quite yet. It's getting late in the fourth. The guys are pumped, and our training's going to come through for this.
Well, two big plays just recently. Did you shift a little bit or change some coverage?
We had a zero call, and I picked up the back, and he showed, but he didn't release. I just kind of took it on the flats, and the guy threw the ball, and it's right there, and I was lucky to get her and down the sidelines. Good blocks.
All right.
Thank you.
Play. Let's go back.
Second down. Long yardage. Play fake, and he's going to run with it. In fact, there's nobody near him. Gets a block, cuts inside, and Torrance is now in a foot race. Torrance to the 45. Richardson is chasing him 27 and catches him. Just a naked reverse by Bob Torrance. And a foot race. 85 yards on the play.
Wow, just a good fake in here now. Sort of that hand back to number 23. He just came around the end. No one realized he had the ball. And actually, the defender was still running downfield with the receiver. And Torrance, I believe, has called a timeout now because he's a little tired. But it looked like he might go all the way until number 27, Richardson, caught him from behind. But he's starting to run out of a little gas here after running that distance. But a great call on your own goal line. Came out there all by himself, and you sometimes wonder whether he did that and the rest of the team knew about it, or whether he just decided to hang on to it and come out there.
Looked a little bit like Russ Jackson in his heyday.
He's a little faster than I ever was.
I don't know. You were pretty quick.
I only ran scared.
You know what, though, Russ? He does that play action the way he used to. He puts that ball in there.
Yep.
That play by Bob Torrance was the longest play from scrimmage on the ground in Vanier Cup history. Glenn Steele from UBC in 1982 went 57 yards. So Torrance goes into the record books. And I think the celebration at that club in Calgary now will be getting a little out of hand.
I think they might just be feeling a little confident about that.
JP Esquerdo tries to cut back in. And actually, one of his own blockers drove the St. Mary's player, McKenzie, right back into him. Let's point out, too, that St. Mary's fans do not have to hang their heads in this one. I'm no Coach Larry Utek disappointed at the way it's going right now, but they made this a barn burn.
Well, there's got to be disappointment whenever you reach a championship game in any sport and you don't win. There is that disappointment, but they can walk off with their heads held high, the coaching staff, the players, and the whole organization in Halifax, that these kids came here and did the job. But the Calgary team has to be very pleased, very happy with the season they have had, and certainly now waiting for the last few minutes to go by, and there we see the trophy that it's all about. What you start the season in August talking about is getting to the Vanier Cup and winning that trophy and getting that championship ring.
3 minutes remaining in the ball game. Calgary with a seemingly insurmountable lead of 38-23, but that difference on the scoreboard hasn't been the difference on the field today. It's been much closer than that score would indicate.
Well, big plays in this last quarter have helped Calgary move out in front. Up until that time, it was very close, but the interception return and then that particular run by Torrance have certainly quieted the crowd down somewhat, especially the St. Mary's fans.
Torrance rolling left, hands back off to Zimmerman, who will go in to score. Zimmerman wisely cuts back towards the goal post, using it as an extra blocker. And once again, outstanding ball handling ability by Bob Torrance.
Well, they run these little counter plays where they give the ball, they take the fake step, and then they come back. And here he is, made to go as though it's a roll out to the left. Bit of a hand-back draw situation, but it's a little quicker than a draw play. But as you say, he came inside that goal post, allowing 79 Kevin Reed no opportunity to make the tackle on the goal line.
Kevin Reed has probably set a Vanier Cup record for most minutes on the field, going offensive and defensive throughout this entire football game. DeMug with the extra point. That is good. So, with the score, Calgary 45, St. Mary's 23. We'll be back in just a moment. St. Mary's coach Larry Utek takes home the Coach of the Year honors this year. St. Mary's quarterback Chris Flynn is the outstanding player in Canadian college football, but the Calgary Dinosaurs will take home the Vanier Cup. Karen, number 21, gets to the 35.
Calgary quarterback Bob Torrance, you've had a great day. 45 points isn't too bad.
Well, I would have taken it before the game, and you know, looks like we got it in the bag now, but man, I can't wait to celebrate after this game.
What did you work on specifically for St. Mary's defense?
Well, we just worked on our same package like we've been doing all year, and just keep the defense guessing with backside stuff and everything like that. But you know, give St. Mary's credit, they shut us down for a couple quarters today. But the guys really wanted it, and we came to play in the second half.
Well, you came out throwing the ball, not running so much, and then you changed it.
Yeah, well, like I wasn't having a good day throwing the ball, so offensive line thought they could run the ball on these guys, and we have been able to run the ball pretty well.
Well, not a bad day is 45 points. I'd take that.
Oh, definitely. We're not done yet either.
Thanks, Bob. All right, congratulations.
Interesting, just before the snap of the ball there, Rusty lined up behind the guard and started to call the cadence and realized that the guy in front of him didn't have the football.
Well, that's Scholar's first mistake. It was noticeable. He lined up under Louis Alsacher, the right guard, and he had a little smile on his face after he completed that pass because he realized Alsacher didn't have the ball to snap to him. He came back under the center. No harm done.
Second down and 1. Scholar on second down, passes to Smith again. Smith gets by 1, tries to spin out of bounds, and does he make it out of bounds? I believe so. They stop the clock. 2:19 to go. Today's game was produced by Dave Waite, directed by Dave Grieg. We'd like to thank our spotters, George Cootie and Bob Layton, and our spotter, Alex Ponton, for their support of the broadcast booth. And Russ, I've enjoyed working with you. It's been a fun 2 weeks.
That's been a lot of fun.
Ken Clark, our ISO director, of course, who's been helping us over the past couple of weeks. Pretty good football player himself.
Not bad. He could kick that ball reasonably well.
For those of you who tuned in to watch Wide World of Sports just now, it will be joined in progress at the completion of this game. Intercepted over the middle by Rod Munden. Fumbled and picked up by, guess who? Travis Dunkel, who's been around the football all day.
Well, trying to throw that ball over the middle, forcing it in there a little bit, and London, number 50, just reaches up and pulls it down, and he drops it. But as you say, Dunkel is going to be there no matter where that ball is on the ground. But there's a little dejection on behalf of this team from St. Mary's as they come off the field and the defense going on the field. But they don't have to do that. They've got nothing to be ashamed of, what they showed here this afternoon. Calgary has played an outstanding football game. Offensively, they've done what they wanted to do, as quarterback said. They have been able to move the ball, and I think that offensive line of Calgary has dominated the defensive line, the Huskies, a little bit at key times during the game.
Straight handoff up the middle, and he'll go the distance. Zimmerman, nobody there on the straight dive up the middle, touchdown. 55 yards for the touchdown on a simple, I guess you'd call it a two-hole dive.
Wow, Zimmerman just took that ball straight up the middle, and once he passed the line of scrimmage, there wasn't a linebacker or a defensive back anywhere around him, and he just took the shortest distance between 2 points. That was a straight line to the goal area, and now Zimmerman himself scoring 2 quick touchdowns has certainly got to be considered as one of the players as well in this ball game.
5 carries in the ball game for 109 yards. Not a bad average.
Not bad at all.
Well, the crowd is starting to filter out of Varsity Stadium, the final Vanier Cup game to be played in this historic park, as next year we move to the new Sky Dome. We hope that wherever you're watching from across the country today, you've enjoyed our telecast of this championship game in the CIAU. And I'd like to say hello to a couple of fans I know who are watching, good friends of mine, Muriel and Stuart Cootie, celebrating their 47th anniversary today and watching the football game.
Well, the Calgary bench now certainly jubilant at this stage of the game. 52-23, but not too long ago we had ourselves quite a ball game here, and the score really isn't going to be indicative of the first 3 quarters played.
You know, when you think that he's punted for 417 yards, and that makes the final statistics sound a little high, Bill Scholar today has punted for 417 yards, passed for 277, rushed for 3 himself, 697 yards in offense for Bill Scholar today.
And shown the leadership that everybody on the coaching staff talked about over the last 2 weeks that he has had with this St. Mary's team, specifically in this final year, his senior year with the Husky ball club.
52-23. Somebody will look at this score someday, Russ, and say that must have been a blowout. And the score, of course, is a blowout, but it hasn't been that much exactly in this ball game. This is amazing on this touchdown run. Where are the linebackers?
Well, Zimmerman straight up the middle now. He's going to get the ball. As soon as he breaks there, he's gone. Nobody there at all. Not where the linebackers. Where's the defensive safety? I wonder if they had 12 men on the field.
It looked like a skeleton drill in practice.
Here he goes now. Everybody got turned outside, and there was no one left up the middle. Number 40, Dunthorne, was the closest player to him as an outside linebacker, but you wonder where the middle backer was in the safety.
I would have liked to have seen the look on his face when he went through there, looked up and saw nothing but air.
And you hope you don't pull a hamstring.
At the 37-yard line, Scholar passes left side Smith. Smith goes out of bounds. Van Bellum, number 33, makes the stop. One minute, 54 seconds remaining. The celebration, I'm sure, has started in Calgary. It will start on the Calgary bench in a very short period of time. 5 years to the day from their last championship. Make that not their last championship, their second championship in the Vanier Cup. They've had one since in 85, but 5 years today from their first recent one. They will celebrate again. First down. SMU, ball at their 51. Scholar pump fake, all kinds of time over the middle to Smith. Smith brought down on the play by Travis Dunkel, number 21.
Now Smith almost looked like he was going to lateral that ball to number 79, Kevin Reed there, but thought better of it, but at this stage of the ball game, anything that might work, you might try and do. But Calgary very content to let them throw the ball underneath, get their 8-9 yards per catch, and let's let the clock do the number for us.
Well, you can see the smile on the face of Richardson, number 27. Hey, they've got nothing to be ashamed of. The score makes it look that way, but they don't. Bill Scollard on 2nd and 1, throws, and Nealon had fallen down, and by the time he got back up, couldn't get to the football. So it'll be 3rd down and 1. Minute 15 to go. The celebrating begins at the Calgary bench.
Sure, at this stage, all the ball players are getting into the game because it's very important that down the line they be able to say that they did participate, not only as a member of the team, but they were out in that field when the Calgary Dinosaurs won this 88 Vanier Cup.
Nobody more dejected than Chris Flynn, who you saw momentarily on the sideline. Anthony Williams breaks away from the first contain, and he goes inside the 35 to about the 32-yard line. Flag on the play. It was after the play, so it was, I'm sure, some activity well back behind the play, some frustration coming out. Jody Hubert, the blocking back, called for unsportsmanlike conduct.
Well, it's interesting. Alan Wood, number 41, was the one that was sort of standing up for the Calgary players there. And the coach, realizing that this time of the ball game, gets him out of there. And let's just make sure that nothing happens late in the ball game that, you know, somebody might not be too proud of.
Clock ticking down on this ball game and on the tradition of the Vanier Cup in this stadium. Smith can't get to that pass. 2nd down. Minute 4 to go.
Now, the minute 4 to go, the one thing you have to worry about, too, Peter, that these receivers start to get a little tired, too. You have to realize that on every play, they're running downfield, maybe 20, 30 yards, and they got to hustle back to the huddle and get started again. So on a drive like this with 4 or 5 pass plays, those receivers are starting to slow down just a little bit.
Second down from the 47. Shotgun formation. 1:04 to go. Outside for Nealon, and he can't quite get to it. Third down. Naturally going for it. Just under a minute. And we just missed it out of the camera range, but the coaching staff just got the old water bucket dunk job on the sideline at the Calgary bench. Now Scollard throws it into the ground in front of Smith, and that'll do it. Calgary's offensive unit will now come out of the field. And St. Mary's offensive unit dejectedly walks off. Peter Cannellan, a little soaked there in the middle of the screen, but happy. A smiling soaked coach.
Well, as I say, I had the opportunity to sit beside him at the Vanier dinner last night, and I had about 4 hours at the head table, and we chatted a lot. And he's got a great philosophy about coaching, especially these young men at the university level. And he still feels maybe at university you still do have an effect on these young men. And more than just teaching them football, he feels it's very important to teach them the values about what life is all about. And I have to respect a man like that.
And boy, what a young football team he has. When you look at his Squirto's only 18. He's got 2 or 3 18-year-olds on this team. That's Shepard, number 29, getting some action in this ball game. Also, Remo Cardoni's in there, a rookie. As they use, as you said, Russ, as many people as they can just to give them some action to say they played it down in the Vanier Cup. Time to give some credit to that offensive line of Kerber, Loretta, Pavlik, Carson, Sakshewski, who've done a great job but don't get their names mentioned very often. Along with Cole Nelson, Alan Wood, and Rob Furlong, the defensive line.
Croshu, who's been in there occasionally. Leo Gratton, who is activated today, number 77. Mosca, players who we haven't mentioned a lot, but have contributed a lot to this victory for the Calgary Dinosaurs. And the two backup quarterbacks for Calgary, Dan Massey and Andy Molchak, who didn't step on the field in a quarterbacking role, but saw a little special team duty.
Well, I was talking to Danny Massey's dad down on the sideline before the ball game, and he was really proud that his son was here. He'd come all the way in to watch him play football in this big ball game. And whether he was played a lot or not, he's a part of this organization, part of this team for Calgary.
And even Russ, we congratulate all the players that played and practiced all year, but maybe didn't get a chance to suit up in this final game. But because of the roster size limit, they just naturally couldn't dress everybody that was part of their football program. Congratulations to those players on both sides. An outstanding year for both teams. It comes down to the final couple of seconds, though. And the Calgary Dinosaurs are the champions in 1988 in the Vanier Cup.
Feeling is something special when you've done something such as win a championship, whether it be in football or any sport. At the beginning of the year, you start out, there may be some individual awards along the way for the coaches and some players, but the ultimate goal is to win that championship.
And that feeling is being experienced by the young Calgary Dinosaurs, including a couple of players who were around for the last championship in '85, playing their final game today in a Dinosaur jersey. And going out winners.
We'd like to congratulate all the senior players from both teams who are playing or have played their last game. I'm sure they have enjoyed their experience as football players with their colleges, respectively, St. Mary's Huskies and the Calgary Dinosaurs, over 3 or 4 years. Congratulations to all of them. We wish them nothing but success in the future.
Peter Canellan in the center of the screen, accepting the congratulations. Goes with being the coach of the Vanier Cup team. I don't know, Larry Utek, coach of the year, but I think the guy who walks off holding the trophy feels more like a coach of the year.
Well, it's the ultimate goal. There's the disappointment. There's the elation as we see the trophy there. Former Mayor of Toronto, David Crombie, who was the honorary chairman of the Vanier Cup festivities, and there to help with the presentation. It will be made very shortly.
Well, at center field, of course, there's the usual congratulations. The Vanier Cup trophy being readied for presentation to the captains of the Calgary Dinosaurs. 52-23 was the final score, but it was close until the final 8 or 9 minutes. Now let's go downstairs for the official presentation of the Vanier Cup.
Ladies and gentlemen, directing your attention to the Dinosaur area right behind the Calgary bench, where the captains of the Calgary Dinosaurs have accepted the Vanier Cup from Executive Vice President Mr. Robert Pugh and the honorary chairman of the Vanier Cup Festival, David Crombie. What else do you need?
The final score, Calgary 52, St. Mary's 23. This is the Vanier Cup, Canada's University Championship.
We are back at Varsity Stadium, the final in the 1988 Vanier Cup, Calgary 52 and St. Mary's 23. We will run through the trophy presentation of the Ted Morris Trophy very quickly. That's for the game MVP. And Ray Peterson is here on behalf of Nestle's to make the presentation to Sean Furlong. Calgary, go ahead.
John, this has to be a big day in your life. On behalf of everybody watching the game, and especially all your fans of the Nestle Company, I'd like to present you with the Ted Morris Memorial Trophy, the most outstanding player of the 1988 Vanier Cup.
Thank you very much. It feels great.
Personal memento, I'd also like you to accept this ring.
Oh, thanks very much.
Thank you. Congratulations. Thank you.
Thanks.
Congratulations again, Sean.
Thanks.
We'd like to remind everyone that the rest of our coverage of the football championship will take place on CTV's Wide World of Sports. That will include the offensive award, which goes to Bill Scottard, St. Mary's, number 15, and the defensive award to Calgary's number 35, safety Dave Heaton. Once again, the final score, Calgary 52, St. Mary's 23. Goodbye from Varsity Stadium.
The Calgary Children's Milk Fund is a non-profit organization. They provide milk for our city's kids, pregnant women, and nursing mothers. November is Milk for Kids Month, and you can lend your support by making a donation at any Calgary branch of the Canadian Imperial Bank of Commerce, or mail your check directly to the Calgary Children's Milk Fund. This program has my support, and the support of the most important members of the dairy industry. All we need now is you